Hello everyone, this is What If Fanfic and today, I'll bring you What If Naruto was the rumored Shadow Fox final part. The link to the story will be in the description. If you want to hear a fanfiction, please comment down below. Now on to the story.
Naruto walked to the Hokage's office dressed for a mission, as he had gotten a summons by an Anbu with orders from the Hokage to see him for a mission, and knew that it was time to earn his pay. Not surprising since it had been only barely a week since the death of both Itachi and Kisame had happened, which meant the bounties set for both men were to be added to Naruto's already extensive fee. During that time, many people in the village had called for Naruto's death, which wasn't surprising since they had wanted him dead for years, and the death of not one but two last Uchihas, Madara excluded for the moment, just caused further fanning such hate-filled flames. Within 2 days of it being public knowledge, Tsunade had declared the Uchiha clan to be officially wiped out forever, and caused the people in the village to mourn the fallen clan. And at the same time people increased their angry glares at Naruto when he walked by, with some people even going so far as to try, and dying in failure of, hurting him. The councils protested this, as they considered it a disrespect to the now deceased clan of the Leaf, and demanded Naruto make reparations to them in the name of the now fallen Uchiha clan. Naruto, however, decided that all they deserved was the ass end of an ass kicking, and gave every single one of those fools on the councils that by sending them to the hospital beaten within an inch of their lives. Something that Tsunade enjoyed despite having to heal all their injuries, but still enjoyed seeing their bandaged forms, and telling them not to be stupid since the penalty next time would be their deaths. But that's in the past, and this was the present, with Naruto presently standing in front of the desk with Tsunade behind it. "What mission am I going on?" said Naruto, as he took the scroll filled with information on his mission Tsunade gave him, and was glad he put the councils in the hospital since they would have sent him on a suicide mission if given the chance. "You're going to Kumo. The Raikage got wind of what you did and feels the act alone to the Akatsuki organization warrants a form of peace between us since he has much to lose in fighting on two fronts, with the Akatsuki being much more dangerous," said Tsunade, as she saw Naruto nod behind his metal fox mask, and pocketed the information since he would need to look at it again later. "If the councils heard that, they would consider it an insult, and want us to invade Kumo to show we are the stronger of their two enemies," said Naruto, as he saw Tsunade scowl, and saw how she had very little love for those fools currently in the hospital drugged up to their eyeballs even when some of them had long recovered. "Those fools wouldn't know how to run this village properly without someone like me," said Tsunade, as she had fought them on various subjects that threatened to weaken the Leaf while fattening their own pockets. "I heard how they tried to stop you from trying to start that special medic program to use for field shinobi to reduce casualties. What was the excuse they used? Lack of funding? Lack of something, I believe it was," said Naruto, as he saw Tsunade scowl at the lousy memory playing out in her mind, and her hands turning into fists because of it. "They said it was the lack of funding and lack of personnel needed to start the training at all. Those old fools have been bleeding this village dry and they claim we lack the funds needed," said Tsunade, as she had wanted to investigate the fools for mismanagement of funds, but never had an excuse to do so, and knew that without one they could move to have her position taken away for someone who had no problem being their puppet. "Just investigate without their permission. When they recover and find out, tell them that the daimyo had heard disturbing rumors of there being a lack of funds before ordering an investigation. I'll talk to the fire daimyo on my way to Kumo and tell him to agree to it in order to see if there is any discrepancies in the village funds," said Naruto, as he knew that this mission of peace at the request of the Hokage could only be reinforced by the fire daimyo, which from the looks of the mission had his seal next to the Hokage's, and this meant that he wanted this too. "I figured as much. He's expecting you to meet him in the next few days," said Tsunade, as she knew that the two needed to meet soon, and get things squared away before the two councils cooked up some cockamamie rule or legislation that would be used against the young man before her. "Then I won't delay," said Naruto, as he turned to leave, and stopped at the door when Tsunade called out to him. "Naruto, has Jiraiya, or my old sensei tried to visit you at all?" said Tsunade, as she had wished to those two would simply apologize to Naruto, and admit they were wrong. "No. I haven't heard from either one, and the Toads already know not to be messengers in regards to Jiraiya having them voice his apology to me. If Uro-Sennin wants to apologize, then he's going to have to do it to my face, and the same goes for the old monkey," said Naruto before leaving, and heard the distinct growl from the woman in the room at the lack of brains those two had shown. "So, those two Bakas won't admit they were wrong to Naruto? Fine. Then I'll just have to make them do it, and I know just how to make it happen," thought Tsunade, as she beeped her intercom to get Shizune into her office, and sure enough the dark-haired woman did just that. "You called Tsunade-sama?" said Shizune, as she saw the angry look on Tsunade's face, and knew whoever pissed off the blonde busted woman was in for a world of hurt. Get me an Onbu team in here, Shizune. I want them to get my old teammate, and sensei in this office right now. If they do much as even show signs of hesitation, the Onbu are authorized to use force to bring them in here, and tell them to not to be late getting back, said Tsunade, as she saw Shizune nod, and went to summon an Onbu team the Hokage could trust. One way or another, Tsunade would see to it that those two ingrates begged on both their hands and knees in front of Naruto for forgiveness. Namikaze Estates moments later, so you are going to Kumo by yourself? I cannot go with you? Said Haku, as she wanted to be an extra pair of eyes and ears should this whole thing be a total farce to trap Naruto by the rakeage. Yes. Do not worry, as I have taken the needed precautions to handle the rakeage should he decide to be bold and keep me restrained. I also wish to go on a little side mission while there that Tsunade doesn't know about and should not know about until my return, said Naruto, as he saw Haku and Hinata coming into the room look at him with curiosity. What side mission is that, Naruto-kun? Said Hinata, as she had overheard the two in the room talking, and wanted to know what it was her love was doing. I'm going to remove the seal on the Nibi vessel so the rakeage can't keep her on a leash anymore. That way, even if the rakeage does decide to try something, I know the Nibi vessel will help me out in the end, and get me out of whatever prison the Baka throws me into, said Naruto, as he saw Haku and Hinata looking worried since Kumo had already tried to capture Hinata when she was just a child. There was no telling what Kumo would do once Naruto arrived in its dwellings. If you are not back in 3 days, I will go to Kumo and tear it to pieces to find you, Naruto-sama, said Haku, as she could not let him be captured and used for that village's own cruel means. The same goes for me, Naruto-kun, said Hinata, as she was not about to lose Naruto a second time, and not to the very place that tried to kidnap her from the start. I'd expect nothing less from the two of you. I expect to be in Kumo for a minimum of 3 days and then send a toad summons to Tsunade with my report. If she doesn't receive it, then you know something bad has happened, and then you can head to Kumo to tear it apart, said Naruto, as he saw the two nod, and would no doubt get some of the other girls like Anko helping tear shit up in Kumo. I mean, come on, it's Anko. She tears shit up when she's calm. Travel quickly and safely, Naruto-kun, said Haku, as she kissed him with a passion, and Naruto returned it with the young man giving her ass a healthy squeeze. Keep an eye on things while in the leaf, Haku-chan, and when I get back we can spend some time together, celebrating, said Naruto, as he rubbed Haku's ass, and then saw Hinata looking at him with a cherry red blush on her face. Someone's envious and clearly turned on, thought Haku, as she knew she was bisexual, and Hinata clearly was from the nights of passion the three had together. Don't worry, Hinata-chan, you can join in on the celebration too, and let your sexy side out, said Naruto, as he kissed Hinata, as gave her ass a loving squeeze that sent a jolt pleasure through the Hyuga girl that nearly sent her right out of her sandals. Hurry back, said Hinata in a squeaky voice, as she was excited by the prospect of what would happen upon his return, and knew that she would be spending some quality time with Haku tonight to keep herself from going crazy. I will. I promise, said Naruto, as he kissed her passionately once more before leaving the house, and left the two girls to their own devices. Fire Daimyo's palace 1 day later. I thank you for meeting me on such short notice, said the Fire Daimyo, as he walked with the young unmasked blonde, and a squad of samurai behind them. Thank you for having me here on such short notice. I know how much you want there to be peace between the Leaf and Kumo, since the odds of Konoha winning the war is pretty slim. Even with me siding with the Leaf, the odds are not good, and you can thank the two councils for that, since they've been trying to push people around since the third Hokage came out of retirement, said Naruto, as he saw the Fire Daimyo nod and run a hand through his hair before giving a tired sigh. I have let them boss around the Hokage, haven't I? Said the Fire Daimyo, as he had felt the third Hokage would be able to handle the two councils after the Yondaime died, and it was only with the fifth Hokage with Naruto here now did he realize how foolish he had been. Yes. I killed Danzo, so most of their voice has been silenced, but they are still being a pain in the ass, and need to realize their place in a shinobi village. For that to happen, I need you to reinforce such things, since no one can usurp the word of the Fire Daimyo in Fire Country except, well, the Fire Daimyo, said Naruto, as he saw the feudal lord nod his head, and knew the man would do just that. I'll write up the official documents before you go tomorrow for Kumo. For now, stay in my palace as my guest, and accept my hospitality, said the Fire Daimyo, as he saw the young Namikaze nod, and knew that things needed to change for the better. Or else Fire Country and the Leaf would be nothing more than a mere memory. Kumo Raikage's office the next day. Welcome Shadow Fox Sama to Kumo. I thank you for attending this meeting for peace between the Leaf and Kumo, said the Raikage, as he extended his hand, and the young shinobi in front of him took it. And I thank you for welcoming me, Raikage-sama. Your brother was quite a sight to see when I arrived with him rhyming while talking to me, said Naruto, as he had laughed at Killer Bee's way of talking, and told the man that he had potential in the art if some form of music was used. I hope he didn't bother you. I've told him repeatedly to try speaking normally, but my poor brother seems to defy me in that regard, and I am starting to come to my wits' end, said the Raikage, as he could feel the intense power this boy had, and knew that fighting the Shadow Fox could quite possibly be the most difficult fight of his life if the attempt was made. Not at all. He's rather unique. I like him. What concerns me, however, is the Nibi vessel you have here in Kumo, and the fact that you have a special seal outside of the one that contained the two-tailed cat in Ni Yugito, said Naruto, as he saw the Raikage stiffen at that, and scowl at mention of Yugito. That seal is meant to keep Yugito in check. Since she hold the Nibi inside of her, Yugito should be loyal to the village, but instead she choose to be rebellious, and has on more than one occasion tried to leave Kumo without permission, said the Raikage, as he had put that seal on Yugito for a reason, and expected the young woman to obey him without question. Perhaps she is not treated well within Kumo's walls for what she holds. Perhaps she feels being loyal to a village that hates her has no value, said Naruto, as he now saw the Raikage glaring at him, and knew this could become something dangerous. She is this village's weapon. Ni Yugito is the offensive sword of Kumo, just as my very own brother is the shield. Nothing will ever change that, said the Raikage, as he was now releasing killer intent at Naruto, who frowned at the man, and shot back some killer intent of his own. So Ni Yugito should just kiss your ass despite the fact you don't deserve to have her or your brother serving Kumo? What a joke you are. No wonder you lost the last war with the leaf, said Naruto, as he began laughing at the now enraged Raikage, and only ended his laughing when the man shot up from his desk flaring his chakra. You dare. I brought you here to bring peace between the leaf and Kumo. Yet you laugh at me like I was pathetic genin fresh out of the academy. Guards, yelled the Raikage, as his Kumo Anbu came into the room ready for battle, and saw Naruto standing up slowly now in a calm-like state. Before unleashing his own chakra and killer intent that overpowered the Raikage's own. It is you, Raikage, who dares defy what is right in this world, and deny that demon vessels like the two in your village suffer under the oppression of people like you who rule shinobi villages. You use them for war or defending a village, yet you don't even acknowledge them for it, and let your village treat them like they're garbage. That in itself is inexcusable, said Naruto, as his back let out a multiple shadowy fox-like head creatures with multiple crimson eyes, and razor-sharp teeth that launched itself at the Anbu behind him. That power is just like the rumors spoke of, thought the Raikage, as he launched himself at Naruto in the belief that the power could only be used properly if the young shinobi stayed immobile, and was confident he could defeat the Shadow Fox. Naruto caught the massive fist aimed at his face with ease before throwing the man out of his own office via the window and leapt out of it after the Raikage. When Naruto hit the ground, the Raikage was on him instantly with taijutsu, and was temporarily throwing the namikaze on the defensive. Though the keyword here was temporary. After the Raikage tried to hit him with a spin kick, Naruto after ducking the said move, and landed a hard right-handed jab into the man's ribcage before hitting the man with a vicious headbutt to the face. The Raikage stumbled a bit before it was his turn to go on the defensive, as Naruto began to use his own taijutsu on the man, who was finding out firsthand that the rumors of the Shadow Fox's powers were indeed true, and was now having second thoughts about fighting this being before him. The Raikage dodged one punch to his face, but took a knee to the gut, which turned into a vertical spin kick, and took a foot to the jaw that sent the man into a nearby building. The people around them had scrambled away with Kumo shinobi waiting on the sidelines to be called into battle against their enemy. They of course knew that the foe the Raikage was fighting was the Shadow Fox, as the man was in every bingo book to avoid at all cost, and the fact that the mercenary had killed a large portion of their comrades didn't help matters either. You brought me here to make peace between the Leaf and Kumo. Well, I have terms I think you will find very difficult to refuse, and quite frankly, you can't refuse, said Naruto, as he saw the Raikage leap out of the building he had been sent into, and landed a good 15 feet away from the young namikaze. You have nothing to say. I want to hear, Shadow Fox, said Raikage, as he went through hand signs, and shot massive A-ranked lightning jutsu at his opponent. That's too bad, Raikage-san, since your village will now pay for your stupidity just like so many others have before you. Shadow style, redirection portal, said Naruto, as he opened up a large shadow portal in front of him, which absorbed the lightning jutsu, and directed at the building not far from the Raikage Tower. Kumo's Anbu headquarters, or rather, what was once where Kumo's Anbu headquarters stood, since the lightning jutsu just destroyed the building, and anyone still inside of it. No, yelled the Raikage in horror at the sight, as he saw the building was now no more, and then looked back at the Shadow Fox. As I told you before, Raikage-san, I have a simple proposal for peace, and the terms are non-negotiable, said Naruto, as he could see the man was still in shock at losing a major part of his shinobi village, and was going to at least hear him out. What are your terms? Said Raikage, as he was sweating heavily now, and wondered what kind of power this man had to do something like that. 1. You cease all hostilities towards the Leaf, and redirect your efforts on Akatsuki since they do not like to play well with other shinobi villages, said Naruto, as he saw the Raikage nod at that, and knew of the organization's way of doing things. You mean wipe them out without mercy, said the Raikage, as he saw the Shadow Fox nod, and waited for condition number 2. Second, Ni-Yu-Gito is to have that seal you have to keep her contained removed, and is coming back with me to Konoha under the protection of my clan, said Naruto, as he saw the Raikage looking quite displeased by this, and didn't want to lose a prized weapon from his village. I can't do that. The instant I do, Yu-Gito will run away from Kumo, and leave her open to the Akatsuki organization to grab her, said the Raikage, who was soon silenced by the intense glare, and killer intent by the Shadow Fox. That's your fault. You should have treated her better. Now, for the third, and final condition of peace between the two villages is the return of Hyuga Hisashi's body to the Hyuga clan, said Naruto, as he saw the Raikage was looking displeased by that since he had asked for the body of Hyuga Hisashi, and didn't know that until now. They killed my ambassador, said the Raikage, as he felt the killer intent from Naruto increase further, and it was suffocating him slowly inside. Your so-called ambassador tried to kidnap a 3-year-old Hyuga girl and the heiress of the clan no less on your orders. Do not tempt me, Raikage-san, in doing what the Akatsuki organization would do if they were here in my place, said Naruto, as he was in no mood to deal with this man's resistance to the terms, and saw the man was not going to bend so easily to the terms. I can still fight you, Shadow Fox. Me and my shinobi forces could fight. Even you can't fight an entire shinobi village with my brother ready to fight you even if you got by all of us, said the Raikage, as he saw Naruto nod, and was surprised the Shadow Fox would admit to such a thing. How true. But, do you really want to sacrifice your entire village to defeat me, and leave it open to attacks from the others? Even your brother cannot repel them all for long, and you forget I have quite few influential friends in those places that will tear this place apart, said Naruto, which was true since he had many connections since his time being the Shadow Fox, and each of them would gladly avenge him if he fell. The Raikage frowned since he knew all too well that was true, as it was rumored that the new Kazekage Subkao no Gaara had encountered the Shadow Fox only once, and soon after became good friends with the young mercenary shinobi. Then there was also the fact that the Hidden Mist village had just gotten over its civil war with the help of the Shadow Fox and became good friends with the new Mizukage, though she never told anyone what the young man looked like beyond the metal mask. Very well. For the sake of my village I agree to your terms, said the Raikage, as he knew that his village had to come first, and to refuse the terms given would destroy Kumo completely. Good. I will have all of this drawn up in a contract for you by tomorrow for you to sign before I have it taken to the Hokage for her to sign it, and I wish to see Ni-Yu-Gito today so I can remove that disciplinary seal on her body, said Naruto, as he sensed that the Kumo shinobi around them weren't liking this one bit, and saw the Raikage nod his head in agreement. I will summon her to my office. You can wait with me there for her, said the Raikage, as he got out of his fighting stance, and headed back to his office with Naruto for the Nibi vessel. Hokage Tower at the moment, you can't do this, said Jiraiya to Tsunade, as he was forced into moldy old janitor-like clothes along with his old sensei, and saw the serious look on his old teammate's face. I can't? You forget, Jiraiya-kun, I am the Hokage of the Leaf Village, and I can make you do whatever I want since you are both shinobi of the Leaf. I know you are retired sensei, but I can recall you to active duty, and any form of duty that I want you to do. You both won't admit you screwed Naruto over when he was younger, so until you do, I'm making you do this instead. And if you so much as think of running out on me, Jiraiya, I'll report this to the Fire Daimyo to get approval to revoke your traveling rights. Both of you are a disgrace to the Leaf for not manning up and admitting you were wrong like I did. Even Naruto admitted I had more balls than you two, and I'm a woman for Kami's sake, said Tsunade, as he saw them looking away, and knew she had hit home. What if, or rather we both apologize to Naruto when he comes back? Will you call off this assignment? Said Jiraiya, as he saw Tsunade smirk, and that didn't spell anything good for him. No. Consider this my punishment to you, and when Naruto comes back he can deliver his own brand of punishment to you two Bakas. Though I'm more than willing to bet that his version of horror installed for you will be much more cruel than mine, said Tsunade, as she saw the two men shiver at that, since such a wager was not one they would like to bet against, and for once the Slug Princess was certain that not even her unlucky streak when it comes to betting would win. Kami help us, thought Jiraiya and Hiruzen before they set out to do the most horrible if not degrading labor known to existence while in the eyes of the public. cleaning up both elephant and bull crap after said animals were secretly given laxatives by the Konohamaru Corps. Kumo. One day later, Naruto sighed from his hotel room, as he looked over Kumo, finding that it was similar yet different than Konoha in terms of designs, and wondered how the others were doing right now. He had sent a fox summons to Tsunade with the signed peace agreement last night ahead of schedule, knowing full well that he lied to the Raikage, but did that in order to prevent the man from having second thoughts about the terms, and for Naruto's own protection back to Konoha. In the large bed behind him, Yugito stirred among the silk covers, and moaned out for his touch once more. Naruto didn't know how it happened, but he wasn't going to complain since it would have happened eventually due to his animal magnetism, and he doubted that the blonde woman behind was going to complain either. All Naruto knew was that the seal on her body that the Raikage put on Yugito also suppressed the young woman's baser instincts that would have come from Nibi if not from her own body's desires. The instant Yugito saw him, the woman was shocked beyond belief, and practically fainted at the news from the Raikage that he was releasing her from being a Kumo shinobi after the disciplinary seal was removed. The said seal was located on her right breast, which when placed on her as a child held little significance to Yugito back then, but now as a growing woman, and it meant that the Shadow Fox would have to see her impressive bust in order to remove it. When the blonde Nibi vessel awoke from her fainting spell, she found herself lying back on a chair in a ceiling room with the Shadow Fox, and him waiting for her to wake up. After some talking, Yugito was a little hesitant to expose herself to him, and gave him a threatening glare to not do anything perverted, despite Nibi telling her that she wouldn't mind if he did do a little groping. Shortly after that, well, the rest, as they say, is history. You told the two girls back home about your new female guest, right? Said QB, as he knew that those two would need to know about Yugito before they came back to Konoha, or else the boy wouldn't be getting any action for a while. Of course. I also explained how she is a demon vessel like me and she is an honored guest in my house while under the protection of my clan, thought Naruto, as he knew that the girls would understand that, and respect his decision regarding the matter. When do you leave for Konoha with the girl? Said QB, as he knew that Naruto ran on his own timetable, and there were still things to do. Soon. After we've had breakfast. Yugito-chan needs to recover her energy she spent last night, thought Naruto, as he looked back at the woman still sleeping, and heard the fox giggling in a perverted manner. Even then I didn't know she could bend her back like that. It was quite the sight to see if I do say so myself, said QB, as he saw his vessel mentally nod, and had to admit the Nibi did help in terms of flexibility since all cats were like that. We can discuss this later. Yugito's waking up, thought Naruto, as he turned fully to see Yugito rise from the bed, and yawn in a cat-like manner. What a dream I had, Nibi. I dreamt I was free of Kumo, the damn disciplinary seal, and then I gave in to repressed desires by giving myself to the Shadow Fox, thought Yugito, as she looked around the room, and stopped to see Naruto looking him with a smile on his face. Kitten, it wasn't a dream, said Nibi, as she saw Yugito process this information, and then let out a squeak before covering herself up with sheets on the bed. Is that really necessary, Yugito-chan? I have already seen your lovely figure, which is by the way is a very beautiful, and to be honest I had to in order to remove the disciplinary seal from your body, said Naruto, as he saw her glaring at him, but then stopped when she thought about it, and sighed at the fact that he had a point. Though Yugito still wasn't going to let him see her chest. I'm leaving Kumo to live with you, right? Said Yugito, as she knew that this was her chance to be free, and be away from this hate-filled village that only used her like a kunai before throwing her away when she was no longer needed. Yes. I figured you would find your happiness with me in the leaf, but your status as the holder of the Nibi will remain a secret just to be safe, and will have my clan's protection to further ensure nothing bad happens to you, said Naruto, as he saw Yugito nod, and then smile at him since a fresh start was something she felt was needed in her life. I heard you killed 2 members of Akatsuki and were among their strongest among the organization, said Yugito, as she saw him smile at her, and then nod that was in fact true. Yes. We will have to deal with the 2 assigned to hunt you down eventually since the 2 I killed were aimed for me, said Naruto, as he saw Yugito growl at the thought of being hunted like some mindless animal, and looked forward to dishing out her own bit of justice. I'm looking forward to it, said Yugito, as she could feel Nibi getting angry, and it was reflected by the demonic chakra the woman's body was letting out. So am I, but that can wait until later when we're back in Konoha, and we report to the Hokage, said Naruto, as he saw her flinch at the title since it sounded like Raikage to her, and she didn't like meeting anyone with that title. She's nice, right? Said Yugito, as she saw Naruto smile, and sit on the edge of her side of the bed. When she's not drunk or hasn't lost money gambling, said Naruto, as he just laughed at Yugito's sweat-dropping look, and put a gentle hand on her shoulder that made the blonde woman blush at the contact. I suppose it could be worse, thought Yugito, as the Hokage could be a big fat pervert, who would use her for other means, and for that dirty orange book. In Konoha, Jiraiya suddenly sneezed with an intense gust, pushing him back behind one of the more larger elephants, and by the time the Sannin struggled off the intensity of the sneeze, he found himself covered in elephant shit. His scream could be heard all over Konoha, and Tsunade was laughing at his misfortune. Naruto walked into Konoha with Yugito by his side, as he headed straight for the Hokage Tower to give his report on the matter regarding Kumo, and to state that the alliance with the other shinobi village was declared officially complete. Along the way, Naruto noticed the mixed looks of the village populace looking at him with fear, anger, and some gave him smiles, though those were rare. Yugito also saw this, but chalked it up to the simple fact Naruto's status in being a demon vessel like her was the result of the looks, and knew that it took incredible strength to not let those looks get to you. "Do you have second thoughts, Yugito-chan?" said Naruto. He saw her looking around, and saw what she did when it came to the villagers. "No. My loyalty is to you and the Hokage if she is the person you make her out to be," said Yugito, as Naruto had told her about Tsunade, and how she was the Hokage now of Konoha with a much less narrow-minded view of things than others within the Leaf. "Only loyalty? Nothing else?" said Naruto in a mock hurt that made Yugito blush, and the Nibi inside of her wasn't helping either. "After freeing that seal from your body and then making you a full-fledged woman, I'd say he has definitely got more than just our loyalty," said Nibi, as she saw her vessel now blushing further, and mentally telling the cat demon to shut up. "Welcome back, Naruto. This is Ni Yugito, I take it?" said Tsunade, as she saw the two enter her office, and ready to give a mission report. "Yep. Freed from Kumo, the seal that they use on her, and is going to be one of my many wives to help restore my clan," said Naruto before giggling like a pervert before he saw Tsunade's eyebrow twitch and Yugito's blushing at the statement. "Did you do what I think you did?" said Tsunade, as she got ready to punch Naruto out of the village, and into next week. "I don't know, Granny. What do you think I did?" "If you are thinking about what you think I did, then you might be right in thinking that, and you are now thinking something else," said Naruto, as he was now dodging a fist from Tsunade, and grabbed Yugito before leaping to the window. "Get back here, Naruto, and take your punishment like a man," said Tsunade, as she shook her fist at Naruto threateningly, and got a rude gesture in return. "Why should I listen to the only woman in the elemental countries, who doesn't stay to pay her debts, and hides behind a genjutsu when it comes to taking punishment," said Naruto, as he leapt out of the window before making a shadow clone to give Tsunade the full report on his mission, and went with Yugito the Namikaze estates to introduce the girl to the others waiting for them. Training ground number 4. Sometime later, Naruto was training now, as he let Yugito get acquainted with Haku and Hinata in order for them to bond together without him interfering. Yugito was nervous, of course, since she didn't really bond with anyone in Kumo due to her situation in being the Nibi's vessel, but Naruto assured the blonde woman that Haku would accept her without question, and the same went with Hinata. All they would ask of Yugito was that she be truthful and just be herself when around them. No fake smiles when it came to family. "You can come out now, Sarutobi Baka," said Naruto, as he turned to see the old man that was the retired Sandaime known to all as Sarutobi Hiruzen walking towards him, and with a smell about it that was not human fecal matter. "Hi, Naruto," said the retired Sandaime, as he saw Naruto glaring at him, and knew the boy had every right to be angry. "That's Namikaze to you, Baka. Come to apologize? Don't bother. No amount of begging for my forgiveness will ever make me forgive you or Jiraiya team. Even more so when Yugito told me the truth behind the incident involving Kumo 13 years ago. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? The one thing that not even Hyashi knew about in regards to the incident that you felt no one needed to know. The secret involving you and a secret agreement with the Raikage to get the Byakugan in exchange for no war with the Leaf?" said Naruto, as he had been told the whole story by Yugito, and how the Raikage was pissed about getting screwed over while not being able to do anything about knowing it could cause problems for both sides with the respected daimyos ordering the peace. "Oh shit," thought the retired Sandaime, as he saw Naruto slowly walking towards him with a serious look in his eyes that the old retired Kage had only seen in the boy's father during the last Shinobi War, and even then it was nothing like Naruto's. "You remember, don't you? I would think you would, since you were the one who told the Kumo ambassador when to abduct Hinata, and how to escape the Hyuga compound after he did so. It was only by pure luck that Hyashi had such a funny feeling about the man that he decided to keep an eye on things at night and saw the Baka stealing Hinata-chan. The plan was so close to blowing in your face at that point, but then luck decided to smile on you once more out of a sense of pity, old man, as you saw your chance to give the Raikage what he wanted, and in the form of Hyuga Hyashi himself. However, the Hyuga elders threw an explosive tag onto that idea by having Hisashi go in his brother's place, and put Kumo at a standstill with the Leaf up until now," said Naruto, as he saw Hiruzen's eyes widening, and began sweating heavily. "What did you do?" said the retired Sandaime, as he stared right into Naruto's eyes, and had to fight the shiver that ran down his spine. "I did what you could not. I brought the conflict with Kumo to an end. I have brought back with me a wonderful woman they thought a weapon ni Yugito, and I also brought back Hyuga Hisashi's body back to the leaf to be buried properly. By now Tsunade will be issuing an order for your arrest on the grounds of treason and various other laws of the leaf that you also broke because of it," said Naruto, as he saw the old man now go pale in the face, and then grabbing the younger man by the collar of his clothing in a form of panic. "You don't understand, Naruto. Kumo could have easily wiped us out with the Raikage's younger brother and the man himself had worked together. The only reason they didn't was because Lightning Country had been hit by a recession and any further continuance of conflict would have crippled them. I didn't know how long it would last since there were already signs of it ending soon and it was the only way to call off any future attack by Kumo. I did what I had to do for the leaf. Being Hokage is not so simple like you think it is, Naruto," said the Sandaime and felt Naruto's grab his wrists before squeezing it hard. "Like I think it is? You think I don't know, old man? I know how hard it is because I saw you Sandaime Hokage fail at being it. You failed to be Hokage after my father died, you failed at being the Hokage during the Hyuga incident with Kumo, and you failed to keep the late Uchiha Sasuke from being spoiled by the Bakas in the village. Not to mention you lied to me about my family and you deliberately kept away the one godparent that could have had watch over me if told to stay for that reason," said Naruto, as he now squeezed harder, and heard the old cage cry out in pain before making him fall down to his knees in pain. "I had to. It was the only way to ensure you wouldn't die. Danzo had a Rudanbu team on standby to kill you the instant Tsunade came back into the village on my order if it was marginally connected to you. He had so much information on me that I could have been overthrown and Danzo would have taken my place," said the Sandaime, as he saw Naruto look at him with even greater anger than before, and squeezed harder until there was the sound of old cage's wrists breaking. "You spineless old man. That's your excuse. The old I had to speech? What you should have done, was tell Tsunade everything. You tell Jiraiya to get off his lazy perverted ass, and raise me like they were asked to by my father. Instead, you roll yourself into a ball while drowning your guilt in the belief that people will one day come to their senses in seeing me like the hero they should have from the start, and ignore a child's cries that should have never been ignored in the first place," said Naruto, as he threw the man onto the ground, and walked away. "You will never become Hokage at this rate, Naruto. You will always be the same stupid clueless boy you were growing up and will never understand what it takes to be a leader and to make sacrifices. Your father learned at least that much when he was Hokage of the Leaf," said the Sandaime, as he saw Naruto stop walking, and turn around with an infuriated look upon his wrinkled face before walking towards the old cage to the point of stopping right in front of his elderly body. "You still think I want to be Hokage? That I still want to rule over a bunch of spineless, arrogant, and egg-sucking pieces of gutter trash within the Leaf? I'd sooner go to Iwa and become Shikage after they learn I'm the Yondaime's son. You want to talk about my father making sacrifices? About being a leader, who makes sacrifices? Why not talk about me then, because I've been making sacrifices for this Kami-forsaken village since the day I was born. It's you retired Sandaime Hokage, who does not understand what it means to make sacrifices, and you have long since tried to justify your guilt using the very position you have tainted since taking it over after my father died. May you burn in hell forever, old man. May your soul burn for over 1,000 lifetimes. For when you go to hell, and believe me when I say you will go there, the demons that reside there will be sure to give you a royal welcome fitting for scum like you along with every arrogant baka this village holds," said Naruto, as he kicked the retired Hokage in the face, and then spit on the old man after doing so before walking off with the Anbu that Tsunade ordered to arrest her former sensei. With Jiraiya sometime later, Jiraiya was taking one of the very rare breaks he was given cleaning up steaming piles of elephant and bull crap given to him by his old teammate now Hokage. As he sat there with his shovel planted in the ground in front of him, the Sannin thought back to how he screwed up so badly with his student's son, and how he left the leaf instead of protecting the boy from harm. Minato should never have left to fight Kyuubi. I should have done it. I could have made the damn seal and he could have worked on it afterwards to further improve it. But he just had to play the hero, the self-righteous, and self-sacrificing baka. Thought Jiraiya, as he turned to his right to see Naruto standing on a fence post, and looking down at him with a frown. So this is how the great toad Sannin Jiraiya spends his days when he's not peeping on women to keep his guilt from devouring his already weak soul. Cleaning up animal crap, said Naruto, as his voice was mixed with disgust, and some form of amusement. Sure, rub it in my face, why don't you, said Jiraiya, as he saw Naruto scoff at him, and then look at the animals around them. I would, but I don't want my hands smelling like animal crap, and then going home to my future wives to have them smell it, said Naruto, as he saw Jiraiya go pale, and then glare at him for being a smartass. Just like his father. No respect whatsoever for their elders, thought Jiraiya, as he saw his late student's son look at him, and then got a deadly serious look on his face. Why didn't you come visit me like the old retarded monkey did when I returned from my mission to Kumo? Said Naruto, as he saw Jiraiya wince at him, and look away in shame. For one, I thought you might feel vengeful, and try to kill me.
As for two, I couldn't see you because I didn't want to believe you came back, and alive from your mission to see the wreckage, said Jiraiya, as he felt Naruto's killer intent rise, and knew that the boy would demand an answer.
You didn't want to believe I would come back alive? Is that what you just said? Did I just hear my failure of a godfather wishing that I failed my mission and possibly died while on it? I knew you were pathetic Uro-Sennin, but now even I in 100 years if given that amount of time to live would have believed you wished me dead, said Naruto, as he saw Jiraiya scowl, and get up to walk away before a kunai hit him hard right in leg. Reverse end of course. What do you want me to say, Naruto? That I hated you? That I wanted you dead? That I was like your mother and hoped the village would kill you? Said Jiraiya, as he knew that Naruto could have hit him with a sharp end, and chose not to. That would be good thing to start with. I want to know just how far the hatred within you goes because your shadow is singing right now and I want to hear it from your own mouth, said Naruto, as he saw Jiraiya look at him with surprise, and knew that the man didn't expect his own shadow to rat him out. And Jiraiya just couldn't take it anymore in keeping his feelings bottled up like this. Okay. Fine. I admit to hating you. The Yondaime was my greatest student and in one single night the Kyuubi took what I had molded into a corpse after being sealed into you. So yeah. I do hated you, Naruto. I still do. I hate you for holding the demon fox that killed my student, who was your father, and Kami help me. I won't change how I feel about you in that regard, said Jiraiya, as he wasn't going to hold back his feeling on the matter anymore, and decided to express it now while he still could. I see. Tsunade had hoped you would know humility by doing this and admit you were wrong for being such a baka of a godfather, but it seems her hopes in you died long before she ever gave the order, and now I will have to do what must be done to set you free, said Naruto, as he drew his sword, and Jiraiya got ready for a fight. Bring it on, monster. I no longer care what Tsunade thinks of me, I no longer care about anything regarding the leaf, and I don't care about you, said Jiraiya, as he was tired of holding back his anger at the losses he suffered over the years with Tsunade's constant rejections being the first, the constant showing of favoritism the Sandaime made towards Orochimaru being another, and the loss of his own student being like a son to him being the final straw that broke his pre-verbal back. Letting it fester to this point it finally brought it out with Naruto probing the festering scab in Jiraiya's soul causing it to pop. Shame. Tsunade will miss you, even if you were a super perverted baka, and filled with the mindless arrogant hate like all the other assholes in the village, said Naruto, as he stabbed his sword into the ground, and it came out of Jiraiya's shadow hitting the Sannin right in the back before going through the chest. What? Said Jiraiya, as he didn't understand, and saw Naruto walking towards him with a serious look on his face. What? You didn't think I would waste all my time and energy fighting you in an all-day battle, did you? I do not have the time nor the patience to fight someone lower than trash like you today. As for what awaits you in the afterlife, I think you along with my father are going to have a few choice words just like he's doing now with my bitch of a mother, and he will be the one to show you the true meaning of pain. Goodbye, failure, said Naruto, as he took out another shadowy blade, and took Jiraiya's head clean off. Tsunade wasn't going to like this, but considering Yugito was now with him, and Kumo was off their backs, he doubted she's raised such a stink considering how much of a baka the man was. Hokage's office moments later, you did what? Yelled Tsunade, as she looked at Naruto like he did made the biggest mistake of his shinobi career, and further paled when her godson planted Jiraiya's head on her desk. I killed Jiraiya. And before you even begin to think I'm betraying the village, I took the liberty of recording our conversation before I did, and have it here for you to listen to. Oh, FYI, that's a copy so don't even think of getting the idea of destroying it and then having me arrested, said Naruto, as he threw the tape on her desk, and left without another word. Jiraiya, you perverted baka. I knew you well, thought Tsunade, as she looked at the face of her former teammate knowing now there was only one more left, and he was the next one to go after Naruto got through with him. Hopefully, Tsunade could get Anko to join Naruto in order to keep an eye on her godson, and make sure he didn't do anything too rash. Only time would tell. Naruto stood by the north gate entrance/exit of the village in his Shadow Fox attire, as he waited for Anko to meet him for the special assignment had Tsunade give him to kill the last remaining male Sannin of the three. Tsunade had mixed feelings about that, but she managed to give him the assignment to Naruto, knowing that Orochimaru had long since cheated the Shinigami of his soul, and it was time the Snake Sanin paid what he owed. Come on out, Anko. You can't hide from me. Not with that shadow of yours whispering things that would give a pervert a severe nosebleed, said Naruto, as he turned to see the woman come out one of the nearby alleys in her usual attire, and had a smirk on her face. Damn. And here I thought I could sneak up behind you so I could grab that wonderful looking ass of yours, said Anko, as she walked towards him, and had a sway in her hips that told the younger of the two that she wanted him, badly. Sorry to disappointment, but to make it up to you, I got us this mission together to hunt down and kill your old sensei, since my spy network has found Orochimaru's most recent hideout that he won't be moving from for the next 2 months, said Naruto, as he saw Anko's eyes widen, and then tackle him into a hug with his head now in her breasts while she kept saying thank you several times before letting him go. Maybe after the mission is over we can have a little fun, said Anko, as she ran her index finger in random patterns along his chest, and was smiling wickedly. Perhaps. However, we must first complete the mission, and then we can have some fun, said Naruto, as he grinned behind his mask, and grabbed Anko's rear hard, making the special jown, and let out a squeak of surprise before he let go of her to see the woman's flush red face. Clearly, no one had ever had the courage to grab her ass out of fear of losing the hand, and another important male appendage. Pervert, said Anko, as she moved to slap him, but he easily caught it, and moved her face close to his masked one, now less than an inch from it. Maybe I am one. Maybe I'm not. However, you open the door with your flirting, the innuendos, and this is the result of it. Don't like it? Then don't flirt and give me innuendos that are made to make me blush, said Naruto, as he smacked her ass this time, and then let go of her before running off while laughing the entire time. When I catch you, pervert, I'm going to cut off that hand of yours, and mount it on my wall, said Anko, as she chased after him, but even then she felt her heart beating faster, and part of the special Jounin's mind kept saying that she wouldn't mind Naruto grabbing her ass again, much less giving it a good spanking. Namikaze Estate. Several days later, Hinata sighed contently, as she sipped her tea with the two girls sitting to each side of her in the triangle formation they had created in order to look at the other, and could tell that they were just as content as she was. Haku had made her special blend of tea, as she had felt the sudden need for it, and Hinata along with Yugito agreed with her wholeheartedly in that fact. It wasn't an easy arrangement at first, as there was a need to mark their own respectable territory in regards to Naruto, and they would each be lying if they said that claws didn't threaten to come out. In Yugito's case it was quite literally. Fortunately, their claws never did come out with either meaning, as the trio had found common ground in wishing to make Naruto happy, and knew that fighting over him was not something to do to stay in his favor. Another thing to consider was that being in this harem meant that each girl had to trust the other, as they were part of something special, and to be the alpha female was something Naruto didn't wish. He loved them all equally, neither side gaining too much favor, nor did they receive too little of it, and made it known when around. I hope Naruto-kun is doing alright with Anko. They went to hunt down Orochimaru at one of his bases, said Hinata, as she knew from the Leaf Village's past experiences, the Snake Sanin was not one to be underestimated, and also had to consider Kabuto a threat too. Naruto-kun can handle Orochimaru and Anko can make sure Kabuto is kept at bay, said Haku, as she knew Naruto would destroy Orochimaru if not give Anko that honor, and then remove Kabuto to make sure all that the Sanin did died with those two. That is an understatement. I saw the power Naruto-kun wielded against the Raikage, and it was something you don't want to feel the wrath of, said Yugito, as she had seen what the boy could do, and what it was that made the Raikage relinquish his hold over her. I just wish Sakura would leave him alone. She's constantly on the warpath trying to kill Naruto-kun like the stupid bitch she is, just like when we were younger, said Hinata, as Sakura had come over to the house yesterday, screaming like a banshee, and calling for Naruto to come out so she could kill him to avenge Sasuke. Hinata hit the bitch with a gentle fist slap across her face that sent the pink-haired slut sailing into the Hokage monument. We will leave her alone for now, but if Sakura become a threat to Naruto, no matter how small it may be, we kill her, and burn the body just for the hell of it, said Yugito, as she saw the other two nod in agreement, and were not going to put up with Sakura's diehard Uchiha fangirl ways anymore. What about the other two girls? Tenten-chan and Hana-chan both seemed to like Naruto-kun quite a bit from what I saw from before when he was in contact with them, said Haku, as she wanted to know about those two girls, and what their intentions were in regards to the Shadow Fox. Tenten-chan wants to learn from him in terms of swordsmanship, but I know she is also interested in him, and would like to be in a possible relationship. As for Hana-chan, it is too soon to tell with her, and the feelings she may feel could possibly be instinct-related in terms of finding an alpha, said Hinata, as she knew how the two had interacted with Naruto in the time he was back in Konoha, and knew they wanted to get to know him better. To be honest, I think those two will fit right in with us, and that Anko woman can also liven things up if she joins Naruto-kun's harem, said Yugito, as she saw the girls look at her like she was crazy, and then realized that the Nibi vessel didn't know how Anko could get very excited about things. Oh well, Yugito would have to learn some time. Hokage Tower at the moment, this is outrageous. You have no right to do this, said a civilian council member, as he was being taken away by Anbu kicking and screaming all the way to the Aviki. One of many to be precise. Actually, the fire daimyo gave me all the rights I needed to violate yours, and I found enough mismanagement of funds at the hands of you Bakas to have you all executed. But then I thought, what would be the fun in that? And decided to let Aviki earn his pay, said Tsunade, as the last civilian council member was dragged out of her office, and then she turned her evil eyes look, that Naruto taught her before leaving with Anko, to the shinobi council with the Sandaime's old teammates looking just about ready to piss themselves. Hokage-sama, surely our records are impeccable, and are all in order, said Homura, as he saw Tsunade squinting her eyes at him with scrutiny, and then turned to Koharu with suspicion. Fortunately, you two have clean financials, so for the moment you are off the hook with me, but if you so much as look at Naruto wrong, so much as think up a foul name in your head, I will arrest you both, and have Aviki squeeze out every piece of information you hold in those wrinkled dried up heads of yours. Got it? Said Tsunade, as she saw the two cowering in the corner, and nodding their heads quickly. Why yes Hokage-sama, said the two at the same time. Good. Now get the fuck out of my office, yelled Tsunade, as she stomped her foot, and shook the room from the impact before the two old farts ran out the room like they were back in their 20s again. Damn. She had wanted to do that for years. I have heard of clearing house, but this is ridiculous. Thought Shizune, as she had seen Tsunade come in this morning early mind you, and began going through every single last piece of paperwork with no drinking breaks before summoning the councils here to be torn a new asshole. Send in that landlord from the new apartment, yelled Tsunade, as she had one more piece of business to conduct, and it involved the owner of Naruto's old apartment. The said landlord came in quivering like little child, nearly pissing himself at the sound of Tsunade's fingers drumming along her desk, and the smirk on the Hokage's face was making the man growing increasingly nervous. As he should be. YUW wanted to see me Hokage-sama? Said the man, as he saw Hokage looking at him like a piece of meat, and saw that she was not impressed with what she saw. Yes. As you know, Namikaze Naruto has had his status changed from deceased back to being alive due to the information coming out about him being the Shadow Fox. As you are also well aware of, he was your only occupant of the shithole your place once was, and you yourself didn't live there. Under Konoha's various housing laws under apartment buildings, it state that if a landlord is not among its occupants for over 3 years, then he or she forfeits their right to be landlord of the apartment, and hands it over to the only occupant that lives within it. The only way to get it back, is if the new owner gives it to you, and hands over the deed to the home, said Tsunade, as she saw the man now grow fearful since he put a lot of money into transforming that place into something close to a luxury hotel, and was now being told that he was about to lose it to the demon brat. But that boy lost his right to the place when he was declared dead. As such, the deed would go right back to me, and stay with me, said the landlord, as he now saw Tsunade frown at his near slip-up, and narrow her eyes at him. True, but it hasn't been a full 3 years since then, and now that his listing within the Leaf ranks is no longer Kia, it means the deed is to be handed over to him immediately upon his return to Konoha. Failure to comply with my orders, sabotage the building, and do anything illegal to prevent Naruto from claiming the property as his will result in you along with various other parties involved being punished publicly for your actions until Naruto kills you for it, said Tsunade, as she saw the landlord jump up in a rage, and his mouth frothing like a rabid animal. This is absurd. I will not hand over my property over to that demonic abomination. It was bad enough that thing lived in my complex since it was born, but now this. I'd rather die. Yelled the man, as he was hoping his words would reach anyone that shared his sentiments, and would rally to it in the future. He was met with Tsunade slamming her fist on her desk with enough force to shake the room with killer intent coming off of her, causing the landlord to soil himself. That can be arranged, yelled Tsunade, as she was not about to put up with any of this man's arrogant crap, and if need be just have him killed right now before labeling his death an accident. The now former owner of Naruto's newly acquired property looked to be on the verge of a heart attack at this news since he was calling Tsunade in the belief her threat of killing him was a bluff and found himself finding out that it was not. Running out of the room with his soiled pants, Tsunade summoned a loyal Anbu, who had been in the room, and ordered him to watch the baka just in case he tried anything on the property. Orochimaru's hideout 3 days later. How is the progress coming with my latest vessel Kabuto? Said Orochimaru, as he was doing some experiments, and his right-hand man looking at some test results. "He's doing remarkably well, Orochimaru-sama. It won't be long until he's ready for you to take over his body," said Kabuto, as he saw the Sannin smiling wickedly, and knew that this body Orochimaru was one of the better bodies he had in stock. "Good. Make sure nothing happens to him while I run these tests," said Orochimaru, as he looked at the blood samples in front of him, and was grinning sinisterly at it. No sooner has that happened, did a series of explosions shake the internal structure of the base, and the sounds of people dying soon could be heard. "We're under attack. All forces defend and protect Orochimaru," said a sound shinobi on the intercom system, but was killed off by something that clearly caused the man a great deal of pain, and suffering from the various sounds of the tearing off of flesh that went out over the intercom. "Who dares attack the great Orochimaru of the Sannin? Come forth and feel the wrath of a vengeful immortal god," said Orochimaru, snarling with anger at his base now being attacked, as he ran outside to see who it was that was attacking him, and make those that did, regret it. When he got outside, the Sannin was surprised to see Kabuto fighting Anko, but at the same time his former, and failed apprentice looked like she was not the source of the carnage before him. Hearing a wicked chuckle to his right, Orochimaru turned to see a sight before him that filled his wicked heart with fear he had not felt in years, and the sight before him was the Shadow Fox. The Shadow Fox sitting on a crimson throne leaking blood all around him, his right leg over his left, hand interlacing the other, and were in front of his mask staring into the Sannin's very soul. Orochimaru wasn't a fool, as word had spread through the elemental countries on just who the Shadow Fox was, and was surprised that the boy was alive after he had originally learned of his death in Wave Country. He actually came for the body, only to find it wasn't there, and cursed himself while believing that the grave the people gave the brat was fake while secretly burying him at another location. Any such action in finding out where would have alerted the Sandaime, who would have contacted Jiraiya, and the Toad Sannin would have gone to investigate personally. "Why so surprised, Orochimaru? Surely, you knew that with my services now employed to the leaf that I would seek you out, and destroy your pedophile ass," said Naruto, as he saw the Sannin snarl at him, and quickly drew Kusanagi from his mouth. "To be perfectly honest, I was under the impression that you hated the leaf, and would seek its destruction before I could do it myself," said Orochimaru, as he actually long suspected that Naruto would wish to unleash his vengeance upon the village, and those that dwelled within it. "I do hate the leaf and those within it. However, it doesn't mean that all of them have to suffer, as there are good people there regardless of them being in the minority, and I'm just picking off the bekas that hurt me the most. Like your old partner in crime that was Danzo, for example," said Naruto, as he saw Orochimaru become infuriated by that news since he had spent a great deal of time on giving Danzo the Senju bloodline, and now such potential was lost. "Damn you. All that effort I put into giving him the Senju bloodline and in an instant you destroy it," said Orochimaru, as he could feel the boy smirking at him behind that metal fox mask, and it was pissing him off. "Well, if it makes you feel any better, I even the score for you by killing Jiraiya, and getting the old man arrested on criminal charges," said Naruto, as he saw Orochimaru looking at him in shock, and then fear since Jiraiya was strongest of the three Sannin. "Jiraiya is dead? It can't be," said Orochimaru, as Naruto slowly got off his crimson throne, and once more chuckling at the Sannin like what was said was nothing more than a joke. "A quick word of advice when facing me, Orochimaru team. I highly recommend you piss yourself, followed by praying to your impotent god," said Naruto, as he moved his right hand in a graceful manner, and the shadow lines that now escaped his fingertips were now dancing in the air like they were alive. "What is that he's doing? It looks like he's wielding chakra strings, but I can sense they are something else," thought Orochimaru, as took a step back, and was watching the shadowy string cautiously. "Orochimaru-sama, those strings are what he used to kill everyone around us, and must be avoided at all costs," said Kabuto, as he took his eyes off Anko, and proved to be a fatal mistake with a special Jounin unleashing deadly snakes within her trench coat sleeves that wrapped around him before biting his upper body around his face with their poisonous fangs. Even with his own healing power, Kabuto couldn't handle so much of it, and could no long fight. "What? All this death was from that?" thought Orochimaru, now tensing at the sight of the shadow string moving around almost unnatural. "Well, not all of it was from my hands. Anko-chan helped a bit by launching a couple hundred explosive tags in all directions," said Naruto, which made Anko blush, and get him to laugh at being put on the spot like that. "It worked," said Anko, as if to justify her actions, and saw Naruto nod his head. "That it did, Anko-chan." "That it did," said Naruto, as he let out another evil if not sinister chuckle before the notorious shinobi unleashed his deadly shadow strings upon the now fearing for his life Orochimaru, who leapt out of the way, and just barely avoided them. "I won't die so easily, boy. I am a Sannin after all. Earth style, Mud Dragon Jutsu, said Orochimaru, as he quickly made hand signs, and launched his jutsu at the Shadow Fox with the man easily invading it in a graceful manner while charging straight at him. So foolish, said Naruto, as he dodged the length of the jutsu, and forcing Orochimaru to jump back every few seconds due to the closing gap that was coming with the Sannin trying to slice him to pieces with the Kusanagi sword. Get away from me, said Orochimaru, as he tried to use his sword to keep Naruto away from his person with those shadow strings all around the Shadow Fox, and knew that one false move would destroy him. Let the suffering begin, said Naruto, as he easily sidestepped the sword thrust from Orochimaru's weapon, and wrapped the shadow strings around the snake Sannin's wrists before giving a tug that resulted in Traitor of the Leaf's own hands. My hands. You took away my hands, said Orochimaru, as he cried out in pain, and saw Naruto kick his sword to Anko with the woman using her free hand to grab it before she stabbed Kabuto with it to make sure the medic Nin was officially 100% dead. Now this is the part where you pray before you die, said Naruto, as he wrapped the shadow strings around Orochimaru, and pulled on them hard to cause the intended effect the infamous shinobi was hoping for. Orochimaru had been sliced to pieces. You have no idea how hot you just made from doing that to him, said Anko, as she saw her bastard former teacher was now reduced to nothing more than sliced bloody chunks of flesh, and of course lots of blood. No mud clones. No fake bodies. It was all Orochimaru that was before them in pieces and there was no way to bring the old bastard back. Would you like to do the honors? Said Naruto, as he saw her smirk, and go through the hand signs. You're such a gentleman, Naruto-kun. That earns you bonus points with me. Fire style, fireball jutsu, said Anko, as she unleashed her fire jutsu on the remains, and watched with glee at the sight of the Sannin's body turning to ash. Looking forward to it, said Naruto, as he let out another chuckle behind his mask, and knew his demonic voice he used when like this turned her on so badly. He was so going to enjoy getting laid with this sexy hot woman. Akatsuki home base 3 days later, it has been confirmed. Orochimaru and Kabuto are dead, said Pain, as he saw the other members of Akatsuki look at him in shock, and some were getting nervous. Namely Konan. The Shadow Fox? Said Hidan, as he saw Pain nod, and let out a string of curses. With the help of Mitarashi Anko. From what Zetsu has told me, the Kyubi vessel used what could only be described as shadow strings to kill most of Orochimaru's men, and then Orochimaru himself, said Pain, as he saw Sari seem interested in the attack Naruto used in killing everyone, and wondered if it was possible to use it with his puppets. So what exactly do you want us to do? Said Deidara, as he saw Pain frown in thought, and consider his options. You and Sasori will go after the Shukaku vessel soon. The time for gathering all of the 9 has come. Hidan and Kakuzu will go after the Nibi. Now that she is no longer in Kumo, you will go to Konoha, and grab her for the sealing. I have been told that Jiraiya of the Sannin is dead, which means a key defense is lost to the Leaf, and leaves just the last remaining Sannin now currently the Hokage of the village. Wipe out anyone that stands in your way, said Pain, as he saw the 4 members nod their heads before their projections vanished with Zetsu doing the same, and left just the man along with Konan alone. What do we do about the Kyubi vessel? We don't even know if he still possesses the demon fox, said Konan, as she knew the key to the plan working was to use all of the 9, and seal them away in a certain sequence. We will deal with him soon enough, Konan. Unfortunately, right now the loss of Itachi and Kisame has weakened our group considerably. First, we will collect the one tail, and then the 2 tail beasts to make up for such losses at the hands of the Shadow Fox, said Pain, as he saw Konan nod, but still saw her worry, and knew that this was not the path she thought things would go. Do we really want to bring his wrath down upon us by attacking the Leaf and taking the Nibi vessel from him? From the rumors I've heard, the Shadow Fox has become attached to her, and may take this personally, said Konan, as she joined the organization in the name of love, and here she was with a man that was threatening to hurt someone in that manner by possibly taking such a feeling away. Was she becoming a hypocrite? It can't be helped. The Shadow Fox would have inevitably crossed paths with us again after the loss of Itachi and Kisame. I consider it a way to settle the score and cover our losses, said Pain, as he knew that the capture of the 2 demons would make up for the death of the 2 Akatsuki members, and bring things back up to their proper timetable. You've changed. The man I knew would never act in such a manner, said Konan, as she once knew the man before her to not act in such a way, and felt pain in her own heart from this. Change happens with the times, Konan, said Pain, as he ignored Konan's hurt look, and stopped the projection of his form with the woman doing so moments later. Konoha Prison Center 2 days later, the former Hokage of Konoha sat on his bed, in his cell, shackles on all 4 of his limbs with each limb connected to its parallel twin counterpart, and a broken shell of what he once was after coming out of retirement when the Yondaime died fighting Kyuubi. He looked at the garbage the prison called food in front of him with a large bubble forming in it before it popped with the sound echoing throughout the room. Of course, the retired Hokage didn't eat the crap they served him since he knew all about what was mashed in it, and what it could do to the mind. He had after all approved of it in his prime in secret meetings with his shinobi advisors during his time running the Leaf in his prime and kept the process going secretly under the Yondaime's own nose. Many of the prisoners within Konoha ate this mental-altering drug-filled food by force if necessary, but no one had forced him to eat it since he was an old man, and apparently the powers that be wanted him to be sane for his execution so that everyone in the Leaf could see just how sound in mind he had been during his last reign as Hokage. And see him fall just as badly too. Evening, old monkey. Anyone violate your old ass yet? I could come back and speak to you afterwards when it's over? Said Naruto, as he came out of the shadows of the former Hokage's cell, and smiled at the broken body before him. Come to see me one last time before my execution I see, said Hiruzen, as he saw the Yondaime's son take off his mask, and look at him with red demonic eyes. Would you expect anything less from me? After all, I do have you to thank for all that happened to me in life and the mission you sent Team 7 on that you knew was not a C rank, said Naruto speaking normally, his eyes narrowing, and his mouth no longer had the smile on it that told of mischievous pranks being planned in the process. So you found out about that, said Hiruzen, as he had deliberately gave that mission to Team 7 knowing what it was, and that Tazuna wasn't telling the whole truth behind the escorting. Difficult not to. One fault you had above all else was keeping records too neat and well documented. I went through the mission scrolls for that day, which again wasn't hard to do, and learned that the mission wasn't even recorded down as a C rank from the start. Instead, you had it down as AA rank mission, but you gave it to Kakashi anyway under a genjutsu with the means to give the Uchiha stimulation for his bastard eyes, and possibly kill me in one fell swoop. You never intended for me to make it back from that mission, did you? The councils were pressuring you into removing me, but they knew if it did, it would get out that my father was the Yondaime's son, and make the village look like a bunch of inbreeding bastards. So you compromised with them knowing that they would agree since it was a plan that seemed to give them what they wanted twofold from the start. They get the Sharingan eyes from Sasuke, and for myself, they get me in a grave 6 feet in the ground for them to dance on when my birthday comes around. How could they refuse? Said Naruto, as he saw the former Sandaime Hokage grunt, and it made the ever-infamous Shadow Fox laugh at the old man. You seem to have me figured out, don't you, Naruto? Is that why you are here? To gloat in the fact you figured everything out? Said the old former Kage before looking up at the boy with hate in his eyes. Me? Gloat? Oh Sandaime-sama, how you wound me so. Please, as if I don't have enough to gloat about without me sounding like the late Uchiha bitch, and the council members that would blow him just to get their own rocks off. I just came here to tell you that your execution isn't going to be public like you thought it would be. It's been decided by both Tsunade and the Fire Daimyo that you be privately executed since the public masses of Konoha, that is its majority that live in it, still love you despite all your sins. They felt that the people would revolt against such an action and feel the need to mislead them from the truth. You know all about that, don't you, old man? Said Naruto, as he saw the retired Hokage now prisoner glaring harder, and knew he touched a nerve. And you call me a hypocrite for doing it, said Hiruzen, as he saw Naruto giving him a mocking pout, and then the finger for good measure. Up yours, Hiruzen. I'm just using your playbook. It's not my fault that you can't stand it when someone else uses your own moves against you. Nonetheless, I feel it is important to tell you that your favorite student is dead, and will be ready to meet you in hell, said Naruto, as he saw the old man's eyes widen in shock, and then narrow with rage burning within them. You bastard child, said Hiruzen, as he had always treasured those moments with the snake Sanin when he was younger, and now his prodigy of a student was taken from him. Oh, are you hurt by that news? Then you clearly won't like the news of how I also killed Jiraiya too before that, just prior to your arrest, said Naruto, as he saw the old man leap off his bed at him, but was stopped due to the chains on the limbs being connected to the floor under the bed, and stopped short of reaching the Shadow Fox, just short of spitting distance. I'll kill you, yelled the former Hokage, as he struggled to get free, but the seals on the chains that drained his chakra were preventing him from lashing out, and Naruto just chuckled like a child watching a wind-up toy move around. Such a waste of energy. I give you an A for originality, but an F for trying, and making it seem believable, said Naruto, as he took out his sword, took the old man's head clean off, and then let it become devoured by the shadows, with the body now slowly looking like it was being digested in stomach acid. It wasn't fancy, it wasn't dramatic, but he got the job done, and Naruto needed to report to the Hokage to tell her the execution order had been done, while the village populace was going to be none the wiser. They would think the old man died in prison, with what was left of his dignity, and if by chance the people did learn such a thing was a lie, fuck them if they hated it. Fuck them all. Mitarashi Anko skipped, that's right, she skipped rather happily into the leaf, glowing like the sun itself when rising in the morning, and Namikaze Naruto in his ever intimidating Shadow Fox uniform walking beside her. Behind his masked face was a smirk that if any man saw would see. It was a look that said, yeah, I got summoned from Anko without a limb lost in the process, though that would be kissing and telling. Of course, Naruto was too much of a gentleman to do such a thing to Anko, and he felt the woman needed to feel appreciated for all the shit that got thrown at her for being the now late Orochimaru's apprentice. You go relax in the hot springs, Anko-chan. I'll report to the Hokage about our successful mission, said Naruto, as he heard the woman squeal with excitement before hugging him in a death grip, and had his masked head placed deep in the valley of delight so rare few have been. And even rarer survived the aftermath of being in it. You're the best, Naruto-kun. Maybe later we can have an encore of what we did on the way back here and in your bed this time, said Anko, kissing his masked face, and then winked before skipping to the hot springs with a smile on her face. I'll say this for Anko-chan. She may be sadistic, as well as hungry for blood, but make her happy, and she'll do things with her tongue that cause one's toe curl like the Wicked Witch with the red slippers in that Oz movie, thought Naruto, as he walked with a skip in his own step, and almost wished for people to see his face beyond the mask. Hot Springs female sighed, oh I so needed this, said Hana, as she sighed at the feeling of her body submitting to the warm soothing water, and her friend Yuhi Kurenai was across from her sighing in agreement. Agreed. I know I'm all for women being strong, but there is nothing wrong with us being pampered, and being, well, like women, said Kurenai, as she heard feminine footsteps coming their way, and Anko soon came in wearing a towel before she descended into the bath water. I love my life, said Anko, as she enjoyed the warm water, and the fact it was soothing her own aching body. Damn Anko, you're practically glowing. Killing Orochimaru must have been way more satisfying than I thought it would be, and rightfully so, all things considered, said Hana, as she knew the woman was itching so badly to kill her sensei, and took the opportunity to take the mission for it. That wasn't the only thing I found to be satisfying, said Anko with a I got some look on her face, and saw the shocked faces of her friends when seeing that the and I let the guy live look that followed it. Really? But the only guy that was with you was, you didn't? Said Kurenai, as Hana moved closer, and had an almost wolfish look on her face. I so did. I mean, how could I not reward him after killing Orochimaru, and letting me kill Kabuto while all their butt buddies were slaughtered around us? It was so romantic, said Anko, making her friend's sweat drop at seeing the blissful face she was sporting. Okay. So, how was the fox boy? Said Hana, wanting details, while Kurenai frowned at the Inuzuka woman for being so cut to the chase. Hana. You shouldn't ask Anko to kill and tell. At least not like that, said Kurenai in a scolding manner, since she knew Hinata was being tight-lipped about her intimacy with Naruto. Though her former student's glowing body easily told Kurenai the times the two had were possibly to die for. Oh, he's no boy, Hana-chan. Naruto-kun is all fox man. Went at it about 10 miles away from the destroyed base, right in the forest area like two wild horny animals should, and it was just, oh Cammy, I think I just had an orgasm from thinking about it, said Anko, with her body shaking so much from pleasure at the memory, making her two friends blush and sweat drop a second time. So Naruto rocked your world, huh? Is he an alpha, or did you make him your bitch? Said Hana, as she knew Anko was a woman that liked to be in control, and dominate others. Make him my bitch? Please. Naruto-kun isn't someone you can dominate when it comes to sex. He's all alpha, Hana-chan, and I doubt you could tame that man or what he's got down south. Oh Cammy, I love that thing, said Anko, giggling excitedly at the thought of going at it with him again. Oh really? How much are you willing to wager I can tame Naruto and be the dominate one during sex? Said Hana, seeing Kurenai look at her like she was nuts, and Anko just grinned evilly at the idea that sprung to mind. So you want to make a bet, huh? Okay. I'll set it up. You go on a date with Naruto-kun tomorrow, since I'm going to be with him tonight with the other girls in the house. If you can get him in the sack and dominate him, I'll swear off Dengo for a month, said Anko, seeing Hana smiling at the idea of Anko going into a I need Dengo. Gimme. Appearance, since that had happened once and was pretty hysterical. Fine. And if I lose the bet, I'll, said Hana in thought, while Anko again smiled evilly while Kurenai face-palmed with the oh no look on her face. You'll be Naruto-kun's sex slave for a whole month, said Anko, as she saw Hana and Kurenai looking at her like she was nuts. What? How come your stakes of losing the bet are lower than mine? Said Hana, as she wasn't sure now about this, and saw Kurenai giving Anko the woman scolding look. What's wrong, Hana-chan? Afraid that you'll lose the bet and be dominated by Naruto-kun? Afraid you'll be his bitch tomorrow and then a month afterwards only to enjoy it and never want it to end? Said Anko, giggling fiendishly at her Inuzuka friend, looking like her pride had just been damaged. Afraid? Afraid? Inuzuka Hana isn't afraid of anything. I accept your bet. Get ready to go on a psychotic episode after going a whole month without Dengo. I'll have my camera at the ready to see your moments of craziness, said Hana, stretching her hand out and Anko grasping it to seal the deal, with Kurenai being the unfortunate witness to this event. Excellent. Besides, being fucked by Naruto-kun is better than Dengo, and I can last the whole month being his fuck toy. So ha, said Anko, grinning at Hana, and knew she had to tell Naruto about going on a date with the Inuzuka woman. Hokage Tower. At the moment, Naruto giggled in a perverse manner in front of Tsunade for a second before becoming serious, while the Hokage herself raised an eyebrow at him. Is there something you find funny? Said Tsunade, as she wished to know what was going on inside his masked head, and hated that damned mask right now. Oh, I just had this strange feeling that a hot woman was talking about me with other hot women, and it involves something perverted, said Naruto, grinning behind his mask, and saw Tsunade had tick marks on her head. Too much information, Naruto, said Tsunade, holding back the urge to punch him. You asked, said Naruto simply, with Tsunade rubbing her temples. You could have lied, said Tsunade, with Naruto letting out a chuckle. I thought it was treason to lie to a cage? Said Naruto, seeing Tsunade scowl angrily at him. That only involves the Miss O, forget it. The point is Orochimaru and Kabuto are dead now, correct? Said Tsunade, nearly losing her temper on the matter. Dead and in hell, said Naruto simply, while looking at the Hokage in a leisurely posture while the woman in front of him sank back into her chair. So what do you intend to do next? Said Tsunade, as she saw him get up from his chair to leave, and stopped at the door. Simple. I'm going to hunt down the remaining members of the Akatsuki and make them drown in the darkness they covet so much, said Naruto before walking out of the room. Damn this job, said Tsunade to herself, as she reached for her sake, but was taken by Shizune, and sealed away in a scroll. Note: Tsunade-sama. You need to do your paperwork, said Shizune, seeing her teacher and Hokage seethe in anger. Damn it, Shizune. I'm the Hokage, and as the Hokage I order you to hand me that sake so I can get wasted, said Tsunade, making the guards outside her office sweat drop. And they thought Anko's Dengo addiction was bad. Namikaze Estate. Sometime later, Naruto sighed contentedly in his bed, as Haku was sleeping happily to his left, Hinata to his right, and Anko was currently on top of him, connected at the hip. Yugito was on the floor with a glazed look in her eyes and a smile on her face, indicating that Naruto had indeed rocked her world. Thinking again about the future? Said Kyubi, as he saw the troubled look on his vessel's face, and the emotions running around in his head. How can I not? I have one problem down, but there are plenty more where that came from, and they are going after my kin, thought Naruto, as he petted Anko's hair, and loved how she moaned when he caressed a certain spot behind her left ear. Do not worry yourself, kid. 2 of its strongest members are dead and the others will soon follow once we have a few days off, said Kyubi, sensing his vessel's frustrations on the matter and how the Akatsuki needed to be wiped out. I hope so, Kyubi. I guess a few days relaxing and then hunting the rest of the Akatsuki is the best plan for now, thought Naruto, as he decided to let his mind rest for a bit since it was long overdue, and refocus his attention on his love life. And the expanding group of women in it. The next day, how could you put Naruto-kun in the middle of a bed, Anko-chan? Said Yugito, as she limped through the kitchen to the fridge to get a gallon of milk, and get herself something to drink. I had to defend Naruto-kun's honor. She basically accused him of being a sub in the sack, and we know that is certainly not the case when it comes to getting laid, said Anko, seeing them all blush, and Naruto himself was smirking at them in return. You could say that again, thought Yugito, as she heard Nibi giggling inside, and told the demon to shut up while heal her soreness from last night. I have no problem going on a date with Hana, but I won't simply screw her just so you can win a bet, Anko-chan, and only go that way unless she truly wants it. Understand? Said Naruto, as he saw the woman pout, and then sigh in defeat. Okay, but I can still have you in the sack should I lose, right? Said Anko, which made everyone, including Naruto, sweat drop, but the young Namikaze shrugged his shoulders before nodding his head, and the woman jumped around happy while her lover watched her bouncing breasts behind her shirt move in such an erotic fashion. It didn't hurt. Anko was wearing only a shirt that stopped at the hip, and thus Naruto could see further down south with ease with each jump. Well, I'm off. I have to go help Tenten with her swordsmanship, said Naruto, as he was wearing his mask, but wore black pants, and just a black trench coat with bandage wraps around his torso. Unfortunately, when he opened the door, one Haruno Sakura was there about to knock on said door, and when she saw Naruto tried to punch him in the face. Keyword of course being tried, as the girl was weak, and easily pushed aside like she was nothing. I've been waiting for your return, monster. I'm going to avenge Sasuke-kun and then free those girls in that tainted house of your demon magic that binds them to be enslaved to your will, said Sakura, as she saw Naruto let out a laugh, and it only made the girl even angrier. Are you serious? You actually think that? Said Naruto, seeing Sakura looking so angry right now. Of course. How else does it explain so many women falling for you? The fact you didn't die from your injuries back in Wave Country? Answer me that, said Sakura, as she saw Naruto shrug since he couldn't really explain it to her, and didn't really want to for that matter. Still, Naruto felt he might as well give Sakura some kind of explanation, and just get her out of his hair before he did something horrible to his former teammate. Maybe these women like me for me? Maybe I treat them with respect and love because they aren't shallow like you. Maybe I survived all my injuries because I simply choose to live instead of dying regardless if the people of Konoha like you wish it to the contrary, said Naruto, seeing Sakura becoming further infuriated. Of course I want you dead, Baka. You killed Sasuke-kun, said Sakura like it was the simplest thing in the world. It doesn't bother you that he would have tried to kill me first? That he would betray you, Konoha, and everyone in the whole world just for a tiny sliver of power? Said Naruto, seeing Sakura's devotion to the late Uchiha was clearly something one couldn't break her free of no matter what jutsu was created. What part of my life growing up don't you understand, Baka? My purpose growing up was to keep you down and help Sasuke-kun not matter what. Sasuke-kun's happiness was all that matters, said Sakura, as she charged at Naruto, and was surprised when a claw from Naruto's torso made of pure shadow energy grabbed, and began crushing her body slowly. Just like your slut of a mother. Always being shallow and narrow-minded when it comes to others. Your precious Sasuke-kun died a traitor's death just like the rest of his clan for their attempt at the coup and deserve to be wiped out for the crimes they've committed over the years in secret. That fact you would defend him and the Uchiha clan means you are a traitor to the founding beliefs this village once had, said Naruto in his demonic voice, as he had just about enough of Sakura and her bitching ways. And you are going to die a demon's death. The village will never accept you regardless of your heritage. Those women will be forever tormented by being associated with you, and any bastard children they have will be tortured beyond measure just to teach your damn family a lesson, said Sakura, as she felt her body being crushed harder, and chose to stare defiantly against Naruto. Should what you say actually come to pass, the one thing I will have to look forward to is knowing you Haruno will not be there to see it happen, and be too busy suffering in hell, said Naruto before a shadowy mouth of a fox came out of his torso that made the shadowy appendage crushing Sakura's body look like its tongue. You don't have the balls to kill me. I'm your Sakura-chan and you've worshipped me since the days of the academy, said Sakura, hearing Naruto now chuckle at her words. And I have regretted those days every second of every minute of every hour of every day that has gone by since I became what I am. That's not likely to change after I kill you, said Naruto, as the fox's mouth opened beyond a comprehensible size, and its claw of a tongue pulling Sakura into its mouth with the pink-haired girl screaming out in fear before the loud sound, the mouth with big sharp teeth closed with a loud crunch. Noise being heard. After a moment of chewing, chomping, and moving the mass of flesh in its mouth, the shadowy head of the fox that manifested itself on Naruto's upper body spit the remains of Haruno Sakura a good 15 feet. What it spit out was basically the equivalent of mangled flesh, bone, and blood in one big heap before Naruto used a fire jutsu to burn the body. Damn, that felt good to him. Why didn't he do that sooner? Heading out to C-1010 for further training in the art of swordsmanship, Naruto headed out to enjoy his day, and give the girls at his home a day of rest. Kami knew those four all deserved it after he let out his frustrations on them last night in the ways of passionate sex after killing Orochimaru and then paying a visit to the now late Sandaime Hokage. Many would say Anko was a just quick fling due to him scoring with her so soon after he killed Orochimaru, but what people would never realize was that a person's shadow, to him anyway, always told him everything about them, and gave him access to their inner nature. Anko's was that of a woman he could truly admire for putting up with shit the leaf threw at her and showed she was made of tough stuff just like Naruto knew she was from the start. It told him everything about Anko from her strengths to her weaknesses, and the desire to find the one guy that would treat her right regardless of her now late sensei. To be loved for being her wild crazy self and put up with her when no one else would because they loved Anko the way she was. Naruto could do all that and more for Anko in the time they spent together. Something he had told her right away before and after their romp in the forest on the way back to the leaf. Anko was frightened by his boldness, of course, but Naruto told her about what his mastery over shadows gave him, and what he knew she desired with his own desire to help fill the emptiness in her heart. Of course, she had looked him straight in the eyes, and basically threatened to destroy him in every way her sadistic mind could create without any mercy to him at all should he screw her over. Naruto had simply smiled a kind smile before kissing her softly on the lips and told Anko that he had nothing to worry about then in regards to the threat. Of course, Naruto wasn't going to be bullied into things either by Anko's feminine charms like the Nara clan head was with his wife, and Shikamaru with Sabaku no Tamari from what he had seen of their manifested relationship. Naruto would be Naruto and Anko would be Anko with any bumps they may have along the way down the road of their relationship being handled the right way. With Tenten sometime later, the sound of blades clashing could be heard on the training ground between Naruto and Tenten with each moving to best the other in their battle of the blades. So far, Tenten had held up pretty good given her own skills with a sword, but even she knew that Naruto was toying with her, and knew he was smiling behind his shadow fox mask in a way that would piss her off if she saw it. The fact he let out a chuckle when she occasionally let out a growl at him didn't help either. "You're mocking me behind that mask of yours, aren't you?" said Tenten, now pointing dramatically at Naruto, who cocked his head to the right, and shrugged. It made the girl seethe even more. "Who? Me? No. Not me. Never. I could never evoke maybe a little," said Naruto, as he laughing at the angry face Tenten made, and it was so funny to see. "That's it. I'm going to bash your brains in for making fun of me," said Tenten, bringing out a war club and charged with feminine fury that all women were known for. "But I'm not making fun of you," said Naruto, as he dodged her club that created a huge crater on the ground upon impact, and wondered if this weapon had been commissioned to be made by Tsunade. Knowing the Hokage, she probably did order it made, and just forgot about it from all the drinking she did. "Liar," said Tenten, as she swung again, only horizontally this time, and Naruto leapt on top of the massive club to look down at girl looking for where he was since she never saw him move. "Says the angry woman with a club clearly designed to hurt men," said Naruto smirking behind his mask, seeing Tenten look at him on top of her club and tried to shake him off. "Well, it's clear you think I can't hit you because I'm a woman," said Tenten, as she finally got Naruto off her club, and took another swing at him. And again she missed. "What makes you think that?" said Naruto with a raised eyebrow behind his mask. "Because all men do it. They think a girl is only good at cooking, cleaning, and making babies," said Tenten, as she had seen enough of that, and didn't want that kind of life at all. "I don't," said Naruto simply while wondering why Tenten would think that way. "Yeah, well, my team of an uncle did," said Tenten, as she hated her father's brother so much, and so did her mother. "Let me guess, he was one of those male pigs that thinks women should be put in their place, and underneath a man," said Naruto, seeing the girl nod. "Yeah. When I told my parents I wanted to be a shinobi like Tsunade, they were happy for me, but my uncle said I shouldn't try to take up a man's only profession, and told my parents I should stick to playing with dolls instead of training with weapons," said Tenten, sensing Naruto's killer intent rising at what he uncle felt she should do. "That bastard," said Naruto, as he was going to rip that team a new asshole, and would have if it weren't for Tenten's next sentence. "He's dead now though. From what I learned, he was once part of the mobs that would try to hunt you down on your birthday, and was killed by my father after he learned about it since the Yondaime was a good friend to him," said Tenten, seeing Naruto calm down and return to a more normal human setting. "Good to hear. If he were still alive, I'd show him what a monster truly is, and show the team what it means to face a demon," said Naruto before he saw Tenten put away her club and smile at him. "Well, since training is done, you want to go get something to eat, and relax for a little bit?" said Tenten with a hint of a blush on her face at the end of her sentence. My Ten-chan. Are you by chance asking me out, on a date?" said Naruto with a hint of amusement in his voice. "No. I mean, if you want it to be a date then," said Tenten, as she cursed herself for being this way since she never went on dates, and was more interested in weapons than boys. "Then a date it is. My lady," said Naruto, moving his elbow out for Tenten to take, and she did with a smile on her face. "You know, when you're not being such an asshole when training, you can become quite the gentleman, and make a girl feel special," said Tenten, hearing Naruto chuckle. "I try," said Naruto, getting an elbow to the ribs by Tenten, though it was all in good fun. Inuzuka clan home later that night, Hana looked herself in the mirror, watching her figure that was covered by the red dress she wore stopping just past the hip, and put on some perfume that would entice any male that smelled it upon close proximity to her body. The person of interest at the moment and enticing was Namikaze Naruto, who was apparently an alpha male, if Anko's perverted words were indeed true, and Hana felt that she needed to put such claims to the test. The crude bet aside, Hana did have every intention of pursing Naruto in the hopes of finding a proper mate to call her own, and this simply sped things up. "Anko thinks he's pure alpha male material, huh? Well, let's see him handle me, and my alpha female ways went together," thought Hana, smirking deviously into the mirror, and knew she had this bet in the bag. Considering her own mother was an alpha female and scared Hana's father away in a fright had to count for something, right? Right. Hana. Your date's here, said Tsume from downstairs and Hana's smile grew wider. Coming. Time to show him my stuff, said Hana, as she made her way down the steps of the house, and saw Kiba was there growling at Naruto with Akamaru doing the same. I swear Naruto, if you dishonor my sister in any way, said Kiba pointing a threatening finger at the shadow fox currently wearing black pants, boots, and trench coat with a thin white t-shirt that showed off his rippling muscles behind it. I know Kiba. You'll tear me apart. I get it. Just shut up and let me enjoy some company with your sister before I start to get angry for your overprotective nature, said Naruto now getting peeved at the Inuzuka male in front of him, as he had no intention of doing something inappropriate with Hana, and only then if she herself wanted to do something naughty would he even try. Though judging from what Naruto was seeing of Hana right now, he was guessing that this Inuzuka woman would do more than go out and have dinner with him. I agree with Naruto-kun. Leave us alone, runt. I'm your older sister and therefore if I can take care of myself, said Hana, as she saw her brother's jaw drop, and Naruto look like he was indeed liking what his eyes saw. Shall we go, Hana-chan, said Naruto taking her hand and kissing it like a gentleman. Yes. Let's go before my brother decides to regain brain function and move to spy on us, said Hana, as they headed out, and only after the door shut did Kiba's brain restart before he set out to spy on the two. Hold it right there, young man. Where do you think you're going? Said Tsume knowing that look on Kiba's face and planned to stop her son from doing something stupid. Come on, mom. You know full that Naruto could try something with Hana. I have to make sure her honor is protected, said Kiba seeing his mother shake her head at him before punching his skull hard so he hit the ground with a lump growing out. Baka. Hana wanted to go out with Naruto-kun for a while now. It's clear he's alpha male material, but Hana has to be sure in her own way, and besides, it's high time your sister settles down with me getting grandchildren in the process, said Tsume, as she had wondered if there was any man worthy of her daughter, and feared Hana would remain alone if not marrying some spineless man. Tsume herself had done before the man ran off in fright during one of her more angrier moments in time before Kiba was still within her and wasn't showing the pregnancy just yet. The man Tsume married simply had no idea what he was getting into when with her, as he barely survived the pregnancy with Hana and simply could take another assault with Kiba in her womb. Hana had a possible once-in-a-lifetime chance to be with an alpha male and Tsume was not going to let this opportunity pass just because her Baka's son felt the sudden need to be protective. I pray to Kami that's not the case, thought Kiba, as he cried waterfall tears, and began picturing himself as an uncle with the kids using him as a chew toy. Oh, the humanity. With Naruto and Hana, for her part, Hana was having the best time of her life with Naruto, as he was a perfect gentleman in terms of acting polite in front of her, and could tell he was fighting the effects the perfume she had on. At the nice restaurant he took her to, Naruto let her sit first after pulling out the chair so she could, and seated himself, and even defended her honor like an alpha male would when some drunken asshole tried to pry her away. The Baka had called her quite a few names like Inuzuka slut among other nasty things for turning down his advances and just for being with Naruto on their date. Naruto's retaliation was making a shadow clone, then have the duplicate take the dumb man outside in the back alley, and beating the living shit out of him if Hana's ears were indeed picking up what she believed was the sound of the drunken Baka's screams. What the shadow clone of Naruto did, Hana wasn't sure, but the Namikaze assured her that no one was going to ruin this date, and after paying decided to walk with her through the park while the full moon was out. The moon is wonderful during this time of night. I always feel strange when under its illuminating gaze and I feel my body tingle for some reason, said Hana, as she sat with him on a park bench, and could tell he was feeling the effects too. Yeah. I feel the same way when the moon is full like it is now. I think it's because I'm a vessel for a tailed beast since Sabaku no Gara is the same way too and several other members of my kin that I've met during my travels, said Naruto, as he took a deep breath, and looked up at the moon before looking at Hana with a smile on his face. I heard from Anko you killed Orochimaru yourself, said Hana wanting to start up a conversation with him. Well, not entirely by myself, as she did help out a bit in drawing the team from out of his hole, and I did let Anko-chan burn the body. Not only that, but she also got to kill Kabuto with Orochimaru's own sword, and keep it to have as a souvenir, said Naruto, as he kept what happened after that, and then later with the other girls out of their conversation. So he's not taking all the credit for the mission, thought Hana impressed since normally such guys would brag about such things and exaggerate to get into a woman's pants. What about you? How has your life been? Said Naruto seeing Hana blush at suddenly being put on the spot. Me? Oh, nothing really exciting you'd want to hear, said Hana, as she was either on average missions, or running the animal clinic her clan helped found for animals needing treatment that couldn't get it at the hospital. "Tell me anyway," said Naruto, as his eyes flashed for a second, and Hana felt the need to tell him about some of the events she witnessed. Including Kiba playing with his mother's lipstick and drawing over his face to make it look like a living Anbu Inu mask when the boy was 5 years old. Naruto laughed at that, knowing it was perfect blackmail for later on should Kiba get in the way of him going on any more dates with Hana in the future. As the lively night started to come to a close, Hana was escorted by Naruto to the Inuzuka clan home, but the woman didn't want to go home just yet, and wanted to see just how much of an alpha male the Namikaze really was. That being said, about halfway home to the Inuzuka clan home, Hana pulled Naruto into an alley, and gave him a passionate kiss that surprised the Namikaze at first, though the young man quickly returned it with a passion of his own. He had been a gentleman to Hana all through the date, keeping urges in check, and fighting them off every time the smell from the perfume made him want to mount the woman in some area of the Konoha that wasn't his bedroom. In fact, up until this point, Naruto had completely forgotten about the little bet Anko had made with Hana about having sex, and him dominating the Inuzuka in that manner. Honestly, it completely slipped his mind, and it was only now during this battle did it come up inside his head. Soon, the two were battling for dominance with neither one seeking to submit to the other, and Hana found pleasure from the battle she was having with Naruto, with the Namikaze feeling the same way she did. However, all battles must have a victor, and Naruto eventually became the victor after Hana grabbed his crotch of his pants while he countered by going for her breasts before giving the nipples an intricate twist of his own design that made the woman become overwhelmed with such pleasure that it gave him the means to take control of their passionate making out. "I need you. I've been needing you all night, but I didn't want to act like a total slut, and had to keep myself from taking you," said Hana, panting heavily right now, as she had been turned on all night by Naruto's actions at dinner, their walk in the park, the talking that followed when they sat down, and the fact that right now he was dominating this moment was the final thing that broke the barrier of restraint from within. "Well, I happen to know the owner of a luxury hotel not far from here, and we can stay in one of the more plush rooms to take this further," said Naruto, as he was the owner of that hotel right now, and decided now was the best time to use the room reserved just for him. What better time to use it than right now? "Lead on," said Hana before the two were swallowed by the shadows to the place where the Inuzuka woman would soon learn that Anko was indeed right about the Shadow Fox being dominant in everything he does. Hokage's office few days later. "So you're really going after them? All of them?" said Tsunade, as she saw him in his full Shadow Fox attire, and could sense the seriousness coming off of her godson in waves. He had spent the last couple of days and nights relaxing in the figurative calm before the storm, with today being the start of the storm. During that time, Naruto got to know Hana, Tenten, and Anko better by spending time with them all day. Of course, he didn't leave out Haku, Hinata, or Yugito from his schedule, since Naruto wanted to spend time with them too. They were the light that he would come back to after bathing in the blood of his enemies that awaited him in the darkness and would need them to keep his humanity when it was all over. "You hired me for a job to remove them. Once they're gone, all that will remains is Iwa, and they don't have their demon vessels since those two went into self-imposed exile. At best, you can get Iwa into a ceasefire with you, and leave it at that," said Naruto, as he turned to leave, and was at the door when Tsunade stopped him. "What will you do afterwards? Once the mission is done and your time with us expires?" said Tsunade, seeing Naruto sigh slightly. "In all honesty, I have no intention of coming back to the Leaf to stay permanently, if that is what you're referring to, and plan to go someplace where people like me are not hated like I still am here. I don't know if all the girls I wish to marry will come with me, but I hope they do, and come with me back to Wave Country to start a shinobi village there," said Naruto, as the country was prospering, and could have a promising shinobi village if given the opportunity. "That's a shame. Still, the offer to come back is still here, and this job if you change your mind," said Tsunade before the young Namikaze nodded and left the room. With the room now empty, all Tsunade could do now was lean back in her chair, and just cry at the situation of more than likely losing her godson for a third time to this blasted village. Akatsuki HQ 2 days later. "So we're finally going after all the tailed beasts now? Even after losing both Kisame and Itachi?" said Sasori, seeing Pain nod his head to the question. "We have little choice in the matter. Word has reached me that the Shadow Fox has now left the Leaf to kill us all," said Pain, seeing the group of shinobi before him tense at this news. "It just means we'll have to be extra cautious and take the more discreet roads to capture out prey," said Kakuzu, as he knew of such roads, and they were cheap too, so spending the money to get to certain places wouldn't be a problem. "We should take care of the Shadow Fox first. With the fucker gone, the rest will fall much easier, and we won't have to deal with this blasphemous shit," said Hidan, as he wanted to spill blood in the name of Jashin, and this was taking up too much of his time. That can be arranged, said the demonic voice of the Shadow Fox throughout the shadows of the room, making all the members of Akatsuki stiffen at hearing his voice. He's here, said the white half of Zetsu in a panicked voice. We need to get the fuck out of here, said the darker half before he found both sides wrapped in shadow strings and then torn to pieces. You can't. I won't let you, said Naruto, as he recalled the shadow strings to his hands, and his eyes glowed red behind the fox mask he wore. Kill him, said Pain, as he saw Kakuzu and Hidan move in to take the Kyuubi vessel down at close range. Naruto in turn moved towards them, and began his intricate dance of battle between the two Akatsuki members. Hidan swung his scythe at Naruto, who ducked the weapon, punched the Jashinist in the stomach, blocked a punch from Kakuzu, kneed the man in the stomach, and then did a reverse spin kick that hit Hidan right in the face. The impact Naruto's hits had on the two zombie brothers, as the late Kisame had labeled them at one point, had caused each one to fly into a wall closest to them, and give Sasori along with Deidara a chance to fight him. Sasori unleashed his living puppets upon Naruto while Deidara had clay being molded to exploded when in close proximity of his target. The Shadow Fox retaliated by launching spiked shadows at Sasori's puppets, letting the shadow energy he released travel from one puppet to the next, poisoning them with shadow and demonic chakra that turned them into nothingness, with Sasori soon following before he even realized it. As for Deidara, he was now jumping back and rethinking his strategy, and redoing his bombs for long-range purposes rather than the in-your-face plan a few moments ago. However, the former shinobi of Iwa soon found that plan to be useless too, as tendrils appeared from the ground, wrapping themselves around his limbs, and then the ones around his arms covered his hands while sinking into the mouths within the palms. Deidara tried to say something, but one shadowy tendril wrapped around his neck, and choked him hard by yanking back on the man's neck. Boom, said Naruto simply, as he saw Deidara's eyes widen knowing what was going to happen. And then seconds later, the man exploded into 100 different pieces. By this point, Hidan along with Kakuzu had regained their footing, and charged Naruto before the Namikaze pulled out his bow staff. Something he was holding back until now due to information in the bingo book had let people know stuff about him already, and Naruto felt he should hold back something for when this moment of confrontation with the Akatsuki organization arrived. Moving almost majestic fashion, Naruto danced around his opponents again, and once more keeping them from landing a single hit on his person. He even got Hidan to swing and stab Kakuzu with that scythe of his before spin kicking the money-hungry man into another wall while taking the Jashin worshipper with him. Seeing the two psychos were down again for a moment, Naruto turned his attention over to Pain, and his beautiful partner Konan. Of course, he didn't make a move against them just yet, even when they were now getting ready to do the same, and heard the shadows whisper information about their real selves. The reason why they were doing this, the pain they endured that turned them into these monsters made flesh, and saw that these two were tortured souls like him with no recourse in their life except to wage war, in order to end it in the fashion they deemed appropriate. Your time has come, Kyuubi vessel. You will not stop us from achieving our dream, said Konan, as she prepared to strike Naruto down, and Pain had his 6 paths ready to destroy the Namikaze with their power. Your dream is folly. Your plan is to hold the world by the throat and to shake it down to the very foundation until it submits to the fear of turning my kin along with myself into a combined weapon using that statue. You really think that's what the world needs in order to bring peace to it? Fools. War will always exist. You simply can't turn it off, even by fear of something so dangerous that it would only halt it for a time, and even then war would only evolve into something else that would make your threats useless. That's why shinobi exist. To be the buffer zone. To make sure battles, conflicts, and overall warfare stays small to the point where minimum life is lost in the process. The world will not be held hostage simply to do your bidding should you succeed, as that is not how the way works, and people will fight such oppression, said Naruto, as he saw Pain's eyes narrow, and Konan's eyes widen. You know nothing. To be betrayed and then killed out of fear for doing something good that those we trusted not knowing they would even do such a thing because you were more liked. That is what happened with us. We helped Ame become something great, but its leader Hanzo feared our charisma and being heroes of the people, and for that we were betrayed, said Pain, as he remembered the agony of that day, and the betrayal at the hands of the Ame leader. I know well enough. For 12 years, I also lived a lie, and just like you I plan my revenge on those that betrayed the convictions they claim to live by. The hypocritical tyrants that destroyed you are dead, as are mine, and those that support them are now no more a threat than the world's smartest termite. You don't have to hate the world for the sins of the few. Just destroy the few and the hate will leave your body with love rising in its place, said Naruto, seeing Pain looking angrily at him. It's not enough. I will only find love when there is peace and only then on my terms, said Pain, as he saw Naruto shake his head, and let out a sad sigh. For what it's worth, I did try, and I would like to say, I'm sorry, said Naruto before going through hand signs before stopping his own 2 personal hand signs for shadow and demon with the light in the room fading entirely. What is this? Said Kakuzu, as he noticed what was happening, and Hidan too now looked around fearfully. A jutsu I created just for this moment. My own jutsu that I regret making and only wish to use this one time for the rest of my natural life. Shadow style, Dark Abyss Jutsu. Said Naruto, as he closed his eyes, and let the jutsu go through the motions. Around him the 4 Akatsuki members looked on in fear, as they stared at what could only be described as per the name of the jutsu, a swirling dark abyss that sucked in all that stood in its path, and it covered the entire room around them. Inside of it, they could see millions upon millions of eyes staring at them, none of them human, and all of them judging each individual in the room like they were a piece of meat to be devoured. The biggest of the eyes fell upon Pain, who felt fear run up and down all his bodies down to the original one safely tucked away in Ame. Your real body is not safe from me, said the demonic voice that seemed to come from the giant eyeball narrowing at him like it could read Pain's thoughts. Because in truth, it could read Pain's thoughts, and knew what the man was thinking. No. Don't, said Konan in realizing what was spoken and tried to shield her love from this thing's judgment. You have done this for far purer purposes than anyone else, said the large eye looking into her mind. So what if I have? Is my life going to be shown more mercy than him simply because of my reasons? Said Konan seeing the eye soften as it looked down upon her. Yes. It was, said the eye like it was a simple thing. Well don't. Where Pain goes, I must follow him, and see things to the end, said Konan defiantly. That is not up to you, child. It has already been set in motion, said the large eye with more authority in his voice before glowing red along with the others surrounding it with hundreds upon thousands of different teeth soon appearing under the many eyes. What are you? Said Kakuzu, as he saw Hidan on his knees praying for Jashin to save him, and the money-loving man secretly wished the psycho's god would help him too. That, which has no name, and cannot be given one by the likes of you, said the large eye before the thing came out like a massive plague of locusts howling, consuming all that stood around it in a way that could not be described by mere mortal eyes. When the jutsu ended, light returned to the room, and Naruto opened his eyes to find out of the 4 members of Akatsuki in the room, only one of those members survived. It was Konan. She was on the ground now. Crying. Crying over the loss of losing the one person above all others in this world. Again. Pain-sama, said Konan weakly while crying, as she tried to pull herself into the abyss after all the forms of pain were taken, but the things would not take her, and simply knocked the woman down to stop any further heroics on her part. Your purpose in this life is not to die here like they did. The people of Ame need you, said Naruto seeing Konan look up at him with tear-stained eyes. Why should I? Why not just end it now? Said Konan, as she could by making a kunai made of paper, and stabbing herself in the neck. Because it will accomplish nothing. People feared Pain and Ame, but they loved you, and that is what a ruler should be when it comes to those that serve the people. It was what helped Pain become so popular before Hanzo betrayed him, but all he saw in the aftermath of the betrayal was that being feared was better than being loved, and lost his way when going down that path. You are more loved than feared by the people of Ame Konan, and you love them all back despite the fear Pain brought them when he took over, said Naruto seeing Konan shaking her head in despair. It won't be the same without Pain, said Konan simply. You're strong. You can endure it for the sake of the people of Ame. They will need you now more than ever. Will you abandon them now? Will you forsake them? Said Naruto seeing Konan look shocked at his words for what seemed like forever before she met his gaze with determination in her eyes. I will not betray the people of Ame. I will be their leader just as Pain was, only I will rule over them in my own way, and bring a bright future to the village, said Konan, as she manifested a bouquet of flowers out of paper, and handed it to Naruto. Thank you, said Naruto, as he took them, and saw Konan's eyes soften now with several more tears running down her face. Consider this my peace offering to you, Shadow Fox. I hope in the distant future, if we ever meet again, we fight side by side as allies, and not as bitter enemies, said Konan before turning to leave and was gone moments later. Me too, Konan-san. Me too, said Naruto before leaving the area, knowing there was one more member of the Akatsuki to hunt down, and that person was currently waiting for him at the place where all of this would come full circle. At the Valley of the End. Valley of the End. One day later, so you're finally here. I was beginning to think you wouldn't show up to finish what the Shodaime started, said Madara staring at the Shodaime statue, as he stood on his own statue, and sensing Naruto arrive while the last remaining Uchiha in existence just looked on. You are one to talk. Always hiding in the shadows and never taking credit for the sins I know you committed out of spiteful vengeance. How many people over the years did you manipulate and kill just for the sake of your pitiful dream? Said Naruto, staring at Madara's back and seeing the man was wearing his ancient red samurai armor he wore ages ago. Pitiful? There is nothing pitiful in wanting to rule the entire world after the position that should have been mine was taken from me. There is nothing pitiful about wanting to be the superior being that has no equal. And you of all people should know about spiteful vengeance, Naruto, when you consider what you've done during the 3 years away from the leaf, said Madara, turning to face Naruto with both Sharingan eyes active. My vengeance wasn't spiteful. I was wrong because of your actions the day of my birth, because you couldn't take the simple fact someone else was more qualified in being the Hokage than you. You are just like your ancestor, who was the oldest son of the Sage of the Six Paths ages ago, and couldn't stand being stepped over for his younger sibling, said Naruto, as he mentally thanked Kyuubi for telling him this, and he used against Madara. Shut up. Our family history is none of your business, and you can tell my old pet that he can expect a great deal of punishment from me for revealing that piece of information, said Madara while hearing Naruto chuckle behind his own mask. He heard you, and in all honesty, the fox doesn't really care. You have abused your right to be his summoner time and time again. You are unworthy of your family legacy, and I'm going to correct the mistake your cousin made years ago, said Naruto before he rushed forward at supersonic speed and hit Madara right in the gut that sent the last true Uchiha of the elemental countries flying into the wall on the other side of water-filled ravine. He hits just like the Shodaime did back then, thought Madara, as he flipped around to land on his feet, and made a massive crater in the natural wall of rock before shooting back towards Naruto with the intent of returning the favor. Naruto met him halfway, spinning in a fierce spin kick at the last moment, and hit the vengeful Uchiha in the face before grabbing one of Madara's arms to throw him down into the water below. As Naruto did this, Madara grabbed his foe's ankle, and dragged the Namikaze down with him. Before they reached the water though, the Shadow Fox kicked Madara's head with enough force to make the Uchiha let go of him, and allow Naruto to regain his foot on the water with his enemy doing the same. It looks like I'll actually have to work for your death, said Naruto, seeing Madara raise an eyebrow at him. You didn't think I would be that easy to kill, did you? Said Madara, drawing his sword from the sheath at his waist. You know, for the brief second when I first hit you up there, yeah, I kind of did, said Naruto, smiling behind his mask, and saw Madara scowl back at him. You will pay for your arrogance in underestimating me, said Madara, as he saw Naruto bring out his own blade, and could sense the Shadow Fox was now smiling underneath his mask. Bring it, said Naruto simply, with the two rushing towards the other, as blades crashed against the other, and an intense shockwave created by an intense wave of water to rise around them. The battle intensified, as the two continued fighting with everything they had, shaking the earth around them, the rocky walls cracking, and the water they were standing on rippled violently around them. Madara of course was holding his own because of his Sharingan, but found it impossible to enter Naruto's mind using his eyes, and was finding his foe to be much more difficult to beat than he first realized. You can't win, boy. I've been around since the formation of Konoha. How do you expect to beat someone like me when your year's experience pales in comparison to mine? Said Madara, as he was deadlocked with Naruto again with their blades sparking against the other, and could have sworn he heard the Namikaze chuckle. It's not about how many years of experience we have under our belts, Madara, but rather what we learned from those years of experience, and it's clear you have learned very little. Of course, I didn't expect an Uchiha to understand the difference between knowledge and its counterpart, wisdom, said Naruto, as he summoned a blade from under his wrist of his left hand, and stabbed upward through Madara's that reached the man's brain before pulling out with the Uchiha backing away in agonizing pain. This can't be. I'm immortal. The first true immortal of the elemental countries. How? How can you defeat me? Defeat an Uchiha as perfect as me, no less? Said Madara, as he felt death slowly touching him from the damage the blade did to his brain, and the blood flowing into it that would eventually clot before putting pressure on the organ to cause a slow agonizing death. You may be ageless because of your eyes, but you're not immortal, and won't live past today thanks to that lethal strike to your body. You won't be able to fake your death this time around, Uchiha Madara. Death has waited long enough, said Naruto, as he saw the man fall to his knees, coughing up blood, and crying out in pain before looking at him with those Sharingan eyes turning back to normal. This isn't over, said Madara, refusing to die from this attack. Actually, it is, said Naruto, as he brought his sword down, and decapitated Madara's head clean off his body. Naruto caught the head while it was still in the air and walked to a shallow surface before throwing it on the ground and used a fire jutsu to end the man's existence in the world for good. An ironic and fitting end to the founder of the Uchiha clan that was said to be a master of fire jutsus. Indeed, it was a fitting end to the Uchiha clan, and perfect for one that betrayed others for power. Epilogue 2 years later, how does it feel to be the Shodaime of the village hidden in the waves? Said Hinata, as she walked in with their child in her arms, and saw Naruto smirking with the cage hat on his head. Good. Very good. I've waited for this moment my entire life and now I have it with you along with the rest of the girls coming with me making this all the more sweeter, said Naruto getting out of his chair and hugging his wife. One of many wives to be exact. It wasn't easy separating himself from the leaf, as Tsunade had done every except get on her hands and knees begging him to stay while holding onto his leg to make sure he did not just run off after reporting his success on the mission. There were still a few problems that came up after his return to the leaf to give his report, as the members on both the councils felt he was too powerful to let go, and tried to have him arrested on dubious charges. In retaliation, Tsunade played a move of her own, and had the two bodies of government within the leaf liquidated before preparing newly appointed members to take the old guard's place with the fire daimyo's approval. Then there was the people of the village itself, as they weren't pleased to see him in the leaf alive, and unharmed by his battle against the Akatsuki. Not that their opinion mattered, as Naruto didn't care about them, and stayed at Tsunade's request due to Iwa being quite stubborn. Apparently, some of the people of Konoha decided to leak out his parentage to Iwa, and stir up a hornet's nest of problems for Naruto. To the majority of the leaf, the Yondaime was the last true Namikaze, and simply refused to acknowledge Naruto as the man's son. In fact, Naruto was sure they would all rather die than admit they were wrong, and not care that their hero's son was abused by them when he was younger. Kind of pathetic of them really. During his remaining time he spent in the leaf, Naruto took over all the training of the Konohamaru Corps. To get the trio to being strong jounin, and help the Sarutobi of the group in achieving the right to be Tsunade's successor to the title. Tsunade herself had no problem with that since Konohamaru was going to be her choice after Naruto turned the offer to be Hokage. Naruto was expected to attend the ceremony 6 months from now to witness the passing of the hate despite what the people thought of the Kyuubi brat being in the village again for the ceremony. Still, it was their choice to make, and Naruto did actually benefit from it in terms of his love life with the girls seeing what he did refuse to stay in the leaf any more than they had to. Hinata loved Naruto without question, Haku had been with him for 3 years, and didn't regret a single day she spent in his presence. Hana was a bit hesitant at first, but Tsume told her she should follow her heart, and to be there for her alpha male of a mate no matter what. Kiba was against it all the way, but after a good pun out of the house, Tsume was able to have a mother-to-daughter talk with Hana, and help straighten things out. Anko had her bags packed right away, as she wanted to have a life outside of a village that hated her almost as much as it hated Naruto, and felt a different place to be herself was in order. Tenten was on the fence about it, which wasn't surprising due to her connection to Guy, Lee, and Neji along with the other rookies. However, they told her that whatever the choice was, it would be supported by them, and they could always visit one another if given the chance. Did you finish all your paperwork? You know the kids at home require your help too, said Hinata in a scolding manner though she didn't mean it. I'll be sure to make a mental note of it after the fact. You girls basically did everything possible to become pregnant in the first place, said Naruto looking at Hinata with the woman blushing since it was true. Well, it's not like you didn't enjoy the process that made us fat as a beached whale, said Hinata seeing Naruto chuckle since all his wives had various mood swings when it came to the pregnancy while being very angry when it came to how fat they may look. That was not my fault. I never said you were. If you remember correctly, Hinata-chan, I kept saying none of you were getting fat, but rather you were simply feeding the life inside of you, and like all things that feed it grows. It's not my fault the baby grew within you either, said Naruto, as he saw Hinata pout, and smack his shoulder. You tell that to the female Mizukage in Mist. She wants you over there to say hello to your twin boys more often, said Hinata, as she knew that the Mizukage had only got the alliance due to her past, and brief relationship with Naruto in helping the woman become the Cage of Mist. Though the red-haired woman, who was named Terumi Mei, had wanted something more solid in terms of the alliance with Naruto, and it came in the form of Mei being another one his wives with kids soon after. As for the shinobi village Naruto had set up, it had gained quite a bit of support, and several shinobi joined his cause. Such noticeable shinobi including Iwa's 2 demon vessels, who had gone into exile, and upon being offered a position in the Namikaze's village where they would be treated with respect, the 2 joined without question. The Waterfall village also allied itself with Naruto's, as it had long since disapproved of the Leaf's ways of doing things after the Yondaime died, but didn't have the strength to oppose Konoha without risk of possibly risking the threat of being discovered, and the chance Jiraiya of the Sannin had a way to disable their own demon vessel. Thanks to Naruto, the system had changed with the demon vessel. A girl named Fu had even become the leader of the village, and was bringing it to new heights with help from the Namikaze. The Kazekage, One Sabaku no Gaara also allied himself with Naruto's village while still keeping his with the leaf if just for formality purposes, and the two became great friends with Naruto being an honored guest in Suna. It also helped that Naruto could introduce a trade route to Suna to supply them water during the more drier seasons when getting water from various known locations throughout Wind Country were more difficult to obtain. Konan offered an official alliance with Naruto's village, creating trade between them, and different ideas on how to train shinobi without giving away too many secrets. The Angel of Ame had met with Naruto since their last meeting that was the Akatsuki organization's final days, and the two had become dear friends. In a way, Naruto reminded Konan a lot of pain before things went bad for them, and it wasn't hard for the origami woman to see that the Namikaze had been right about the people of Ame needing love over fear. Luckily for me, the way to travel by shadows is quick, and to the point, so I don't have to worry about being late, said Naruto smugly while Hinata stuck her tongue out at him. I'll remember that when you do come home late at night, said Hinata with Naruto smiling sheepishly. Now Hinata-chan, you know that I am never late. I always come home exactly when I have to and not a second later, said Naruto seeing the tick mark on his wife's face. You're lucky I love you so much despite being a smartass, said Hinata with a small glare, though Naruto had seen far worse when his wives were pregnant. True, but it's me being a smartass that really turns you on, and has you screaming for more. Or are you still having problems remembering last night? Said Naruto, running home laughing with Hinata red with embarrassment before she carefully rushed after him while making sure her son didn't wake up. Come back here so I can kick your ass, Naruto-kun, said Hinata with Naruto running away from the woman chasing him. Now Hinata-chan, remember what happened last time you said that, and the result of our actions leading up to our child being born, said Naruto running faster through the village with the people watching the interaction with the two while shaking their heads. He was the most unpredictable shinobi in the elemental countries after all.